Barth and Cerrone Battle, Ryan Garvin behind the glass. Not only are we still here on the bye week, 3-hour edition of the program for you today. We got an extra hour for you, taking you up until 11 o'clock, which, as we did a couple weeks ago, means we're going to dig a little deeper, bigger picture Patriots thoughts around the league. We'll get into some more immediate stuff here, too. Should be a fun one today, Cerrone, on the bye week. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It's good to sit back and enjoy the bye week and just watch the rest of the league struggle to make it through. But it's good to be a Patriots fan right now.
It is in what continues to be a year where things come up. It feels like for the Patriots and their fans, and another week off after that Thursday game. He is currently on that pace. He was flirting with about one a game for a while there, but he's kind of slowed that down. 6 interceptions to this point, and I know I have his fumbles here. 9 fumbles, so he's actually a little bit over, but he's recovered a number of those. So that's last year. 6 and 6, 12. He's got, even including the fumbles, he hasn't lost. He's put the ball in harm's way 12 times in 13 games, so under a turnover a game, check. And the last one was they're playing better football at the end of the year than they were at the beginning, which we're going to see against Buffalo and Baltimore. Like, they have a chance to do that, but that Giants game felt like a step forward. So it's just crazy to go back to September. I just wanted to take this opportunity to do this at the bye week because I think it's interesting to go back to September and what were the expectations, what were we looking for from this team, and to now. And they maybe, I know some people are high on Drake May. I was one of them, but it's kind of crazy to your point. In some ways, they've succeeded in the ways we expected them to succeed. It was like, okay, if these things go right, they can be good, and the things went right. But there's also some things that came out of nowhere. How many people do you think looked at it like, well, the wide receivers are going to be one of the strengths of the team? And they've been that, right? So it's just interesting how this thing's developed over the course of the year to me.
Yeah. We actually, even with Stephon Diggs, for one, we didn't think he would even play to start the season,
right?
Let alone be good this early. Well, not say this early now, but as early as he was. And a lot of people still view their receiver room as being one of the bottom 5 in the league. Mac Hollins, Keyshawn Boutte, and Pop Douglas. We were looking more at Kyle Williams taking their spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys are holding on. Is him and Efton Chisholm are going to come in and take their spots. Now you're sitting there, and there's no way you can look at them as a bottom 5 receiver group. I think they've been balanced. They've been good in spots. They've come up with the big plays, the big catches. And we're not questioning this receiver group to see if they can get it done. We're not worried like, man, we're not looking at them as a weakness to why this team can't win a Super Bowl. And I think that's an incredible turnaround. And I don't know who to spread the credit to for that. But I mean, it's incredible turnaround for that group. We thought the tight ends would be where they're at. We thought they were going to be a decent group. The running back situation, we weren't sure, but we were really high on Henderson. We expected big things. He's come on late. And of course, the offensive line. Even with Will Campbell, I don't think people thought they would be as stable as they are now. So, I mean, the whole offense is just, I think they've gone beyond expectations. And from the quarterback down to slot receiver, I think they've exceeded expectations and become a real strength for this team. And the main reason why we're looking at this team like they can win the AFC. So incredible turnaround, and, you know, big shout out to all the coaches and everybody on that side, because they turned this thing around quick, and I don't think anybody expected this.
You mentioned something in there that's kind of, we're talking about the bye week itself that I think is part of this conversation. We did this last year. Like, I'm not a fan of the late bye. I don't think, well, when I say the late bye, I don't think the bye week should exist this late. Unless, look, they're probably eventually going to go to 18 games, and with 18 games, it's probably going to be 2 bye weeks, and then, you're going to need to spread them out more. But the bye week should not come as late as week 14. Frankly, it should not come as early as week 5 either.
True.
And they have an opportunity to kind of shrink these because they have a number of weeks where there's only 2 teams on the bye. I think you'd rather it be really late than really early. But you're looking more in like the week 8, 9, 10, maybe even 11 range. Week 14 is very late. Are you worried at all about them coming out of the bye and this maybe cooling them off?
We mentioned this before, a couple of weeks ago when they had the kind of not a bye, but extended break.
Yeah.
And they came out slow against Cincinnati. And I was wondering, does this team or certain players need to keep going and need to have a rhythm, a routine week after week after week? And they came out slow against Cincinnati, almost lost that one in the end. And it kind of scared me a little bit, but now we're going to find out if a true bye really hurts this team or not. But I think the way they were rolling, I was worried that a bye could cause them to have that hiccup, that trip up down the end here that could set them back a little bit. I mean, go out there and get smoked by the Bills or anything like that.
Right.
But a slow start against a good quarterback and a good offense, could that mean trouble for you? But I don't know. But I think, look, the way they finished that game against the Giants, the way they were playing so hard and so locked in, man, I don't know what could slow this team down outside of turning the ball over 5 times, which is the only reason they're not on a longer win streak.
Right.
But I mean, this team right now is rolling, man. They're locked in on all 3 phases. We say it all the time, but it's true. They're returning kicks. They're making. They're getting stops. They're doing everything, and it's kind of hard to believe. But I don't know if anything can derail this team outside of injuries and just having a bad turnover day.
And I wonder if the slow start against Cincinnati is maybe a wake up call. In
Good
that,
point.
hey,
Yeah.
We struggled last time out of extended rest.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not do that. And they had, it's an extra day. It's a little different, but they had extra rest going into the Giants game.
Good point.
And they came out with tremendous energy. And if they come out with that energy against Buffalo next week, I'm going to feel great. I do want to actually talk more about that Giants game. Again, it's the bye week. We got some time. That was actually a pretty fun game to talk about. So I know it was a week ago, but I want to revisit that a little bit, get your thoughts on some things that'll kind of set us up for what we're looking for coming out of the bye. I want to instinctively say second half coming out of the bye. It's 4 games and then the playoffs. So it's not really the second half. Forgive me if I say that, but we're going to get into that. We're going to get into today's slate. We're going to get into, obviously, the playoff picture looking ahead. We got some Hall of Fame news that we'll take a look at a little later on in the program. And if you remember last time we did a 3-hour show, Ryan Garvin had some superlatives for us. So I've put him back on that assignment again, and we'll do that later as well. Plus your calls on all of it. You want to join us today, 617-779-0985. But let's go back to that Patriots-Giants game because I got some leftover takes I want to share. I'm sure you do as well, Cerrone. We'll get to that next here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
Sports Sunday Kickoff is on the way on the Sports Hub.
snap, left foot's the punt, left to right toward Marcus Jones. He's under between the hash marks at the 6. He runs it left to the 15, to the 20, accelerates 30, 35, 40, beating Gillen off the hit along the near side 40, to the 30. Marcus Jones going to the 20, to the 10, to the house. Touchdown, Patriots!
Look at this place! You tell me they're not ready for playoff football? Gillette Stadium is back!
What a
Patriots
season!
are back!
One of the highlights from Monday night, Marcus Jones' punt return as the Patriots knocked off the Giants for their 10th straight win to go into the bye on a high note. Look, Cerrone, going into that game, and we talked about it last week, they were banged up. They'd had this long stretch to the season. I think a lot of people were kind of expecting them to limp into that game. And if they'd won closer, even if they'd lost, I think a lot of people would look at it and been like, well, they had this great start before the bye and, a lot of injuries. They need the rest, whatever. I think people would have been really quick to dismiss that loss. I don't think that's necessarily unfair, but look, I don't think style points exist in the NFL in the sense that you win the game, you lose the game. That's ultimately all that matters at the end of the day externally.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And internally to an extent, too. That'll make sense in a second. But, there is no playoff committee deciding who belongs where. You can only imagine what kind of mess that would be. What a weird system that would be, right?
Patriots would be like 8th.
Right. We'd be talking strength of schedule, blah, blah, blah. Then the strength of schedule stuff would matter. But I don't think that style points matter generally.
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually not a big style points guy in the NFL. I am in college, not in the NFL. But I do think there is something to, it's a long season. It's a grind. And it's easier when you're winning. I think it's a lot easier to be 11-2 at this point than 2-11 or 3-10 or whatever the Patriots were, at this point last year. But I do think this, if there's somewhere we're going to put in style points, maybe style points isn't the right word for this, but if we're going to put weight into how you won and not just did you win, I think a game like that, if they had limped out of that game, even with the win, it's like, all right, well, the injuries are piling up. They're a problem. They should have probably won this game more comfortably. Are they going to be okay coming out of the bye? Everybody gets to go into the bye on a high note, kind of feeling themselves. And I think that probably makes it easier we talked about it before, about them coming out of the bye quiet or cooled off. Makes you more eager to get back at it. I just think the mental element inside the room of winning a game the way they won it and coming out, really establishing themselves from the jump, they don't need to send a message to anybody.
Yeah.
We talk about that, national TV, they sent a message. That doesn't really mean anything. But I do think in this context, having a game like that is probably a big help late in the year. Help you get through the dog days. Help you get ready for that Bills game. So that was my big takeaway from the Giants game. You look at the physicality they played with. I haven't seen an NFL team play with that level of physicality. By the way, on both sides of the ball, Christian Ellis, Harold Landry, some awesome hits. I haven't seen Ramondre Stevenson run that hard and that angry in a little bit.
The way he threw that man to the ground on the sideline was unbelievable. If he stays in bounds on that's incredible play.
He played with tone. The special teams, obviously, they brought the edge in terms of the physicality. Mm-hmm. They came out hot on both sides of the ball, which they've struggled to do this year. You get the Marcus Jones punt return right away. I'm not a big style points guy, but I think internally to win the game like that, I do think it does matter a little bit, and it's going to help them coming out of the bye week. That I think, simply put, I think guys are feeling themselves after that game. And I think at this time of year, you kind of want that a little bit.
Yeah, I think they came out of this one kind of can't wait to get back on the field. I think they, like you said, feeling themselves, they're confident. I think there's a confidence. Part of the reason you have the big hits like that is because they're reading the game. They're reading what they're seeing. They're reacting to being in the right place. There was a play where I can't remember, the receiver made a catch on the sidelines on the left, and Gonzalez just completely blew him up because he anticipated the play, saw where the ball was going, and he was on him as soon as he touched the ball. And there was a few times where Giants receivers were making catches, and there was a guy there to lay him out. And that's a confidence. That's trusting your game plan, trusting your knowledge, and reading and reacting like that. And I think they're just so confident right now that if they have a situation where they go into Buffalo or something like, well, not something like that, when they go into a Buffalo situation, they're so confident that they trust what they see, what they're seeing. They're trusting their coach and they're trusting their game plan to where you're going to see more chances where they're lighting people up. And they're not standing around flat-footed on their heels or anything like that defensively. And you're seeing it on the field. Like you said, the offense. There was some plays where you're looking at Drake May, you're looking at the offense like, man, they're going to convert this. You know they're going to do it. And they were just making plays up and down the field. Now, they still had their red zone struggles. I know we'll get into that. But outside of that, they just look like a completely dominant team. And I think the style points, it doesn't say anything about the rest of the league itself, the teams around the league. But I think the media perception around the league and the ex-players that you're seeing on TV, they were kind of smiling after that game because, like you said, they haven't seen that kind of physicality, that kind of football. You don't see it often because of the way things are called. So as a clip of James Harrison on his podcast, and they were just laughing, enjoying watching some of the hits. And I think it's changing the perception of this Patriots team. Like, wait a minute now. These guys are here hitting. They got an MVP caliber, quarterback. They're doing everything right. Like, man, maybe this team can win the Super Bowl. Maybe, with everybody, with all eyes on them on Monday night, a lot of people came out of that. Like, wait a minute, I see why they're winning now. I understand it. And I think it was a good showing for them, because if it would have gone the opposite way, even if they won the game, but it was ugly, people would have been another 2 weeks of questioning this team and seeing if they're ready for the primetime or not. But I think they absolutely answered the call last week.
And another good game out of Drake May, won his first Player of the Week award, which felt weird.
How?
I think he was good. Don't get me wrong. Like he played well. I feel like he's had better games. I went back and looked. The week he didn't throw any touchdowns in the win over the Bills, which was a little bit of a Mandela effect. Like, I could have sworn he threw a touchdown in that game.
But it was a great game.
Other game, there was one game he went off, and I looked, and Alvin Kamara had like 180 rushing yards that week. So he kept kind of going up against slightly better performances. But I thought he was good. 24-31, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns. The thing I really loved that he did in that game was how much he spread the ball out. 8 different guys had a catch. 7 of the 8 had multiple catches. Nobody had more than 4. Nobody had more than 6 targets. Nobody had more than 4 catches. And that just tells you he's feeling, he's in sync. He's in rhythm with the offense. Him and Josh McDaniels, like they're really in a rhythm right now. So I really like that from him. Travion Henderson won Rookie of the Week and Rookie of the Month. So he won Rookie of the Month for November. And then he won Rookie of the Week for what was technically his first game in December. So that game counted towards a week that was mostly played in November, but didn't count towards his Rookie of the Month for November. But he was good in that one. And then one other rookie I wanted to highlight is Kyle Williams. I don't know how many people noticed this. I don't think it was shown on the broadcast. The play before the Kyle Williams touchdown, they hit Kayshon Boutte for like an intermediate gain on I think it was second and long. And he actually gets hurt. And he ended up being fine. Like, he came back in the game, but because he was so close to the sideline, he just kind of like took a couple steps over to the sideline and sort of sat down right on the sideline on the bench, and the trainers came to him, so they never stopped the game. But Kyle Williams comes in for him on that play. That's not like a Kyle Williams package. And he runs a route that's designed for Boutte. And honestly, I don't know if May put it out in front. Kyle Williams used the 4.3 speed. So that's one that maybe only Kyle Williams is getting to. But for a guy we've talked about not being on the same page, coming in cold like that as a backup and making that play, and he was the only one who didn't have multiple catches, but he had a catch that obviously mattered, and it was a great catch, great throw, great catch. Doesn't mean it's like everything's fixed for Kyle Williams now, but again, for a guy that was struggling to get on the same page, making a play like that feels notable to me. Like, okay, maybe there's some progress there.
And I think with Kyle Williams, I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think he's probably struggling or anything like that. I think the issue with him and the high expectations we had for him it's because we thought the other receivers weren't going to be as good as they've been. That he would take somebody's spot. Somebody's fighting to stay on or fighting to stay in the rotation. And I think it's just been he's been on the bench because the other guys have been money and in their own special way. Pop Douglas has had his ups and downs, but not so much down. He just hasn't been targeted as much. They're spreading it around, like you said. He's not going to overtake Stephon Diggs. Booty's had this connection with May, seems like from the beginning. And I just don't think there's room for him there. If he was playing, regular snaps, the same amount of snaps some of these other guys, he'd probably have way more big plays the way they're throwing the ball downfield. But I just think he just has to kind of wait his turn. He's in a situation, like college reference. He's at, I'm going to say that they're not Alabama or anything like that, but he's one of those freshmen that is sitting there, and they got all these other guys that are just ahead of him. You just got to wait for him to get his turn. And I think he's going to be a good football player, but once he gets that chemistry and all that stuff, he's going to be really good. But I don't think he's been bad, and that's the reason why he's only got 5 or 6 catches, whatever it is. I just think the guys ahead of him have been well above expectations, and it's going to be hard for him to crack that starting rotation there of receivers. So it's good for him. Keep him healthy and see where he's at by this time next year, and you might really have something with him at receiver.
Where are you at with the goal line issues?
Worried.
Yeah.
I'm worried. I'm concerned. I mean, you think they would have put a 50 burger on this team if they were solid in the red zone.
Yeah.
I'm concerned, but again, you got 2 weeks off. You get to go back and go over more film, get things right, see what needs to be corrected, and maybe they just have to commit to something one way. Hey, we get down inside the 5, we're going to run the football. Just commit to it. Hey, if we got to run it 3 times in a row, 4 times, whatever, we're going to run the football, and just commit to that. But I think you're lining up in heavy packages, then you spread, then you heavy. It's kind of like they're trying to figure it out in in-game situations. I think you just have to make up your mind what kind of team you're going to be in that situation and just stick with it. And the running backs too. Like, is this going to be a Stevenson situation? Is it going to be Henderson? You got to make up your mind and decide what team you're going to be. What's your identity going to be inside the 5? And I think you'll get things going. But yeah, I'm concerned that could come back and haunt them later on.
To me, it starts with the run game. You got to be able to run the ball down there, especially when they get close, when they get to the goal line, and they mixed more the run and the pass in this one, which tells me they're maybe still not there with the run game. Now when Jared Wilson gets back, hopefully Will Campbell gets back, maybe that changes, although they struggled with, in Cincinnati. But you got to get the run game going down there. That's the big thing to me. And the rest will come. You got to be able to punch the ball in, though, from the goal line. 617-779-0985. You want to join us? That's enough looking backwards. How about looking forwards? After the bye, what are we looking for? We'll do that next here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
More Sunday Kickoff coming up on the Sports Hub.
Hey, guys, it's Big Jim.
really, really good drive. May gets it going, gets nicked. Dobbs gets in, keeps it alive, gets the throw to the right side. They continue the drive. Another catch by Ramondre. Then you get one by Diggs inside. Then you get Ramondre there with the run. It's an easy run off the right side. Now you get a chance to put this thing away.
Back here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff, Alex Barth, Cerrone Battle, 617-779-0985. You want to join us? Coming out of the bye, Cerrone, which players are you looking to improve a little bit? Who are you looking for to step up out of the bye? I don't want to say a disappointing first half, but you think they're going to lean on more. I had Ryan play Ramondre Stevenson there because it's going to get cold. It's going to get nasty. Mm-hmm. We know how that works up here late in the year. I was actually just looking at the weather. It is supposed to be 27 degrees is the high, and that's actually later in the day. A week from today when the Patriots host the Buffalo Bills. It's probably going to be closer to 20 at kickoff. Now, it is supposed to snow a little bit on Saturday. If we can get that pushed back like 24 hours, that would be awesome. I don't know. It looks like it's just flurries, but still, a little snow at Gillette would be great for the vibes next Sunday. But, it gets cold, it gets nasty, it gets raw, maybe it gets a little wet. You're going to want to run the ball. You're going to want to power the ball. But you got to keep those backs fresh. So Travion Henderson's obviously starting to play a little bit better. He looks a lot more comfortable. He's figuring it out. I want to see that two-headed monster, that backfield, that tandem that we thought coming into the season. So Ramondre Stevenson's been up and down in the first half. He's had his fumble issues. He's had a couple of explosive games. I want to see him. It's late in the year, and he hasn't had the touches run up on him like he has in past years. He played well against the Giants. I want to see that continue out of the bye. Who are you looking for out of the bye to maybe take a step up?
I'm looking at the defensive line. Landry, I think he's been you can correct me here. I think he's been on an injury report for he's been 3-4 weeks.
It's been longer than that. It's been since, was it the Saints game or the Titans game? I think it was the Saints game. Remember he got hurt and we were all like, oh, that looks bad. That looks like he's done for the year. And then he was back in 3 plays later or whatever it was. He's been listed on and off since then. They currently have him with a knee injury, which I believe is what it's been. But yeah, week off here, and I think they played 3 games in 28 days total going back to that Thursday night game. I think this rest will probably help him out.
Yeah, I think I'm looking for him to, the veteran guys to really, really capitalize on this late bye week when we just talking about how it can hurt guys in certain places and help others. But I think the veterans can get help by. I think Landry should come out of it pretty fresh. You're going to need him chasing Josh Allen around. I'm expecting him to get a little boost or burst, see how long that lasts. Same thing with Moses on the outside in that right tackle position. Veteran guys taking advantage. They know how to handle bye weeks. They know how to, rest up for it. The defensively, I'm not really outside of, Landry. In the middle, you're going to be who you are until Milton Williams comes back. But I think Barmore can use a little boost. I'm pretty sure once Milton Williams went out, he's getting more double teams. They're being more physical with him. They ran the ball at the Patriots a lot more heading into that bye the last few games. I think the Giants kind of ran the ball pretty well in spots. And even though it was out of hand, it kind of was like letting them run it a little bit. Yeah. But they've been run on a lot the last month or so. So I think the defensive line can really use the break, and they can come out with a quicker step against the Bills. But outside of the veteran guys in that D line, I think everybody else has basically been rolling. I mean, the offensive line, of course, to get their rest in. But guys coming out of it that I'm looking for to really take advantage, man. Stephon Diggs, Landry. I think Diggs is about to, I won't say go into superstar mode, but you're getting to the point of the season now where he's the guy that's going to get those gotta-have-it plays for you down the stretch. And I think we almost forget that he had the major knee injury. He had the surgery. He wasn't supposed to be back so early that I think a guy like him couldn't wait to get to the bye week and get time to rest up and get more treatment on his legs and get his legs underneath him more. I think they're going to come out kind of explosive. Now, execution is going to be different, but I think you're going to see a quicker, sharper team when you see Buffalo come next Sunday. I just think certain guys, the veteran guys, I think are going to come out. And I think they're going to have more of a sense of urgency going into the playoffs and kind of with an understanding of what it takes to win this time of year. Diggs hasn't won a Super Bowl, but he's had late playoff runs. Moses was in Baltimore. I think he's gone to the second round a couple of times or whatever it was. He's had decent playoff runs. Landry's been around. They have Carlton Davis who won a Super Bowl. So, and the coaching staff, well, most of the guys on their coaching staff as player or coach has been there before. And I think they're all going to understand, okay, this is the point of the season now. We got to get going. We got to ramp it up a little bit. And I think they're going to come out kind of smoking against the Bills.
And I think getting Tonga back will help too. You talked about the run.
Yes.
I think that's going to be important.
Oh, there's your goal line right there. He's been out for 3 weeks, and there it is.
Schematically, what changes are you looking for them to make coming out of the bye?
I think more of an identity. I mentioned it before the break about them around the goal line. I think we're going to get more of a week to week feel of this team. Like we know what they're going to do. We know in certain situations where they're going to come out. Not so much element surprise or anything like that, but I think they're going to establish more of an identity of what this team's going to be through the winter months. What kind of team we're going to see out there. Not saying they've been feeling things out for the past, 11, 12 weeks. I think they're going to be able to sit down, go over film and say, okay, this is what we're going to do in this situation. No matter what the other team tries to do, they ain't going to stop this. It's kind of what the Ravens are going to do. The Bills, kind of this situation, Kansas City late in games. It was always Pat Mahomes the last few years, but they ran the ball this time of year, and it became their identity for the last 3 or 4 years. With Pacheco or Hunt, they just ran the ball. They did it against the Colts. I think the Patriots are going to come out with more of an identity here, and I think it's going to be not so much of a spread offense. I think they're going to play according to, like you reading that weather. It's going to be in the 20s. It's going to be cold. It's going to be wet going forward. You're going to see a lot more running the ball, a lot 2 tight end sets. I think you're going to see more of a power, assertive team going forward for the rest of the season.
I'm with you. I want to see them add or build on the physicality they played with in the Giants game.
Yeah.
That's the big one for me. If they can build on that and add that to what they're already doing, it's just going to be another dynamic for this offense. It's going to make it that much tougher to defend. We talked about it earlier in the year. Eventually, teams are going to kind of sit back and take away the deep ball from Drake May. And teams are doing that more now. So can you take advantage of some of the lighter boxes you're seeing, some of the lighter defenses you're seeing? That, to me, is going to be the big one. And then I'll give you one on special teams, too. Keep Kyle Williams back there, kick returner. The Giants kind of kicked away from him last week, which is kind of wild. I know he had a good first game, but it was just one game. But they kicked away from him last week. But teams are afraid of him back there, I think. I would love to see them keep him back there in that kick return role because I think he's good for it. Then you put Chisholm or Terrell Jennings or whoever with him. They'll have to figure that out. But I do like Kyle Williams. That role only keeps you involved. It keeps you involved, which I think is important.
And one thing I'd add to the offensive thing. We've seen this from a Josh McDaniels offense before where they've been no huddle, spread you out, throw the ball. And then this time of year, it didn't matter who the running back was. It was Rex Burkhead. If it was LeGarrette Blount, you saw them all of a sudden morph into a fullback, power-eye football team in certain situations, and that was how they ended up winning Super Bowls. I mean, the play action to the tight ends was there, but we've seen a Josh McDaniels offense hit November, December, go into January, and become a power football team, and I kind of expect them to do the same this year.
617-779-0985. You want to join us to talk Patriots? Write your calls next here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
Stay tuned for more Sunday Kickoff on the Sports Hub.
It's that time of year again. Happy Honda Days. For a limited time.
This is Sunday Kickoff with Alex Barth and Cerrone Battle on your home for Patriots football. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Celtics at the Raptors coming up at 3 o'clock here on the Sports Hub later today. The Patriots on the bye. So we go to your calls, 617-779-0985. Open lines if you want to join us. We'll start off with RJ on Cape Cod. RJ, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey.
Barth, I called like a month ago, and I think I admitted defeat too early on the Judkins Henderson thing. I said Judkins is the better guy, but now I don't want to make that trade all over again. I think I'm sticking with Hendy now. Should be interesting to see how it plays back, because it could easily go back and forth. But anyways, guys, on the team, you guys talk about style points. I think the style points matter a lot, and here's why. You look at every team in the league, we definitely don't have the most talent, but no team in the league has done what they are supposed to do in each game more than the Patriots have. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why they're the best team right now. That's why football is the best sport, because coaching matters more in football than in any other sport, because you can schematically do things to affect the outcomes, and that's what Vrabel does. Last thing real quick.
Yep.
I think that Drake May has the ability to operate the Lamar Jackson offense that Lamar Jackson ran his first 2 years in Baltimore. He would run that at an elite level. I think we're going to do that stuff in the red zone, in the playoffs when it matters, and I think it's going to be big for us. Have a good one, guys. Everything's coming up, Pat.
Thanks for the call, RJ. We'll get into everything coming up Patriots in a little bit, because there's one barometer today that would really be everything coming up Patriots. Real quick to his last point, the Lamar Jackson offense, a bit much, because I just don't want Drake running that much. Now, some of that Cam Newton stuff they used to do on the goal line, you want to bring that back in. I'm in on that. They should use Drake's legs more in the goal line. To his point about, and you were nodding as he said it, and you're right, no team has done what they're supposed to do more in the Patriots. I wrote about this week in the mailbag on 985thesportshub.com. Somebody asked me, like, did you have 11 wins? Did you have them at 11-2? If not, why? And I think I remember saying at the beginning of the year there were 12 winnable games, like 12 games they should win on their schedule. Now they've won some games that I didn't expect them to win. I didn't think the game at Buffalo was a game that was a likely win. The Tampa game was a game I had chalked up as a loss going into the season, so they flipped some. But the other thing is, there's 11 or 12 that they should win, but I'm going to have it 9 or 10 wins, because nobody comes out each and every week and plays their best game. It's the NFL.
Yeah.
Even the best teams, nobody throws their best punch 17 games a year. The best teams are like 12, 13, 14 games a year, something like that. And consistency is such an underrated trait. Nobody appreciates consistency in the NFL because it's not sexy. You don't have highlights of consistency. What the Patriots have done, playing at such a steady level week in and week out, is not getting enough credit. It's so impressive, because the NFL is not supposed to work like that. And even when they've had their down weeks, like the Bengals game's the prime example of this, they had a down week against the Bengals, and they still managed to play a good second half and come back and win that game. But besides that, they've been so steady Eddie for the last 10 games. And yeah, they had their blips, but they were, the blips you have early in a season. Week 1 is weird. The loss to the Raiders is going to be one of the most bizarre results we see in the NFL this season. That's week 1. Just like the Patriots beating the Bengals last year. Steelers game, remember we came out of that like, hey, they actually played really well if you take out the turnovers. And
they smoked the Steelers in that game.
It felt like a ridiculous thing to say at the time, but looking back on it, yeah, they kind of did. So, the consistency deserves more credit, and I think that's mainly on the coaching staff.
I think one thing that's getting overlooked is that I was listening as you was talking about the Raiders and Steelers games. There was one key thing that was missing in both of those games is Christian Gonzalez.
Yep.
If he plays the whole season, is this team undefeated?
Well, they only allowed legitimately the Steelers had 203 yards of offense in that game.
And I think one of was the Metcalf big touchdown of Carlton Davis. Does that happen if that's Gonzalez?
You know what? You might be right. The Raiders
and same thing with the Raiders. The Raiders had a couple big passing plays. I don't think those happen if Gonzalez is on the field.
I will say this about the Raiders game. Remember how different their offense was?
Yeah.
It was night and day from what they've run the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I think they needed that game to learn.
Yeah.
I think they needed that game as a learning experience to figure out what worked, what didn't work, and they have. I don't know that the rest of the season goes the same if the Raiders game doesn't go the way it does. Steelers game, they didn't.
Yeah.
You shouldn't need to learn not to turn the ball over 5 times.
Yeah, and the key turnover in that game, again, you're 1 inch away from this team being on a 12-game win streak, because that Stevenson was at the goal line when he fumbled that ball. And I mean, it changed. And then Drake May, again, they get the big play. He throws the interception from the 1 going into halftime. So there's a couple, you can look back on a lot of teams' plays, but man, they're really close not to running the table at this point. If everything, kind of lined up early on in the season, but this team, it's been a weird season, but you hit the nail on the head, man. They don't get tripped up. And every week we're watching teams get tripped up. We're watching teams. There's some teams that are winning, but they're taking overtime or late games to beat really. Like last week, I think it was the Seahawks. Didn't they beat the Titans like 31-27, like late or something like that?
Yeah.
Like there's some teams that are barely getting by bad football teams and losing. Carolina is not a bad team, but people laughed at the Patriots for beating Carolina and being happy about it. And then Carolina goes on and beats the Rams. You know what I'm saying? And they're just not getting tripped up. And that's how you win Super Bowls. That's usually how it works in the schedule, favorable schedules, and then not getting tripped up along the way. You're going to have your bumps and bruises.
Yeah.
But just not getting tripped up and getting that home field and getting games in your field. You get 2 games and you're in the Super Bowl. That's all that really matters. So you got to give them credit for not getting tripped up by these bad teams.
They've basically had 1 off game, like true off game. They've had off moments in games. The second half of the Falcons game was not pretty.
No.
But they've basically had 1 off game since the middle of September. Mm-hmm. And it's that Bengals game, and they still managed to win it. And look, they've got to keep it up. Now, the Bengals game was coming off an extended break. They're going to come off an extended break and face the Bills in what's, you could argue, maybe the biggest game at Gillette Stadium since Tom Brady played for the Patriots. Some people might point to Tom Brady's return. That was a big game emotionally.
But not in the standings. No one really.
Right. And it ended up being a great game. Like, it was a really fun game.
Yeah.
But you take out the fact that Tom Brady's returning. That game didn't really mean it was a week 4 game, non-conference game. Like, this is hat and T-shirts at home. This is going to be Drake May's. I know they have the Ravens, Jets, and Dolphins, but you want to make your case to the MVP voters. This is it.
Yeah, next 2 weeks.
You got to come. You got to come ready for this one if you're the Patriots. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
are they wearing the old uniform? I mean, the new uniforms that game next week?
No, they're done with. As far as I know, they're done with alternates.
I thought it would have been great for both teams to wear their new alternate jerseys or whatever at the same time. You know what? Get the possible snow elements. That'd been so great.
This is where I will give the Bills credit. I rarely give the Bills credit, but I will give the Bills credit for this. Road throwbacks need to be more of a thing in the NFL. A couple teams do it. The Bills are one. The Seahawks got kind of bullied into it. The Bucs are doing it this year. Tampa, those are gorgeous. Yep. Saints, it's not really a throwback. It's like a half throwback, half alternate. It's a throwback with the new helmet, but they have a road throwback. I think the Dolphins have a road throwback. Road throwbacks should be more of a thing in the NFL. And you're right. The Giants have one, and they should have absolutely worn it last week. It would have been awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
But no, it's just going to be, the Bills might be wearing theirs, actually. I don't know. But the Patriots are supposed to wear their blue jerseys. I don't know if they're doing silver pants, blue pants, white pants, whatever. They still haven't done the blue with the white pants, so that's still on the table. But we'll see about that. I think the Jets are doing their.
Oh yeah, today they're wearing those their Oregon uniform.
Right. It's funny. I thought those were all supposed to be in prime time, and then the Jets and the Bears were just thrown in the middle of like a regular slate. Speaking of the slate, week 14 in the NFL, no Patriots, but a lot to get to. We will do that after these headlines, 90 seconds, no commercials here on the Sports Hub.
From the Telfair Times Studios, it's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Paisley Media Group Station. Essential Sports Hub headline, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Week 14 in the NFL, the Patriots are on the bye. They're back at it next week against the Buffalo Bills, but plenty of good action around the NFL today, including the 1 o'clock window. When the Bills do play, they will host the Cincinnati Bengals. Also, a couple games for first place in AFC divisions between the Steelers and Ravens and the Colts and Jaguars. In the 4 o'clock window, Patriots fans watching the Broncos. They will be visiting the Raiders. Big NFC game as the Bears visit the Packers, and tonight, the Texans take on the Chiefs. Yesterday was Championship Saturday in college football. Your major conference championship winners. Texas Tech takes down BYU to win the Big 12. Georgia beats Alabama in the SEC. Indiana beats Ohio State in the Big 10. And Duke beat Virginia in the ACC. Duke not expected to be a playoff contender, so there could be chaos. Will the ACC get left out of the college football playoff? We'll find out soon. The bracket will be announced today starting at noon. The Bruins beat the New Jersey Devils 4-1 yesterday. Morgan Geekie scored again for the Bruins, his 22nd goal of the year. And the Celtics are in action later today visiting the Toronto Raptors. We'll have coverage of that game starting at 3 o'clock right here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Eastern Mass's leader in drain cleaning and pipelining, Drains by James. Slow drain, clogged drain. You need to contact Drains by James today at drainsbyjames.com. I'm Alex Barth on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 10 o'clock.
No matter where you go, you're always connected to Boston sports with the 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Download it wherever you get your apps today.
Pick a target.
You pick it.
Take your pick.
Pick me. Pick me. I did not pick. There was no pick. Pick him up. You pick him up.
Pick.
I pick.
Pick me.
Take the teams.
Pick one, jerk.
All right, second hour of a 3-hour edition of Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff. Alex Barth, Cerrone Battle, Ryan Garvin behind the glass. And it is time to go around the National Football League for Week 14. We will start with Thursday night, the Dallas Cowboys at the Detroit Lions.
Here comes Jared Allen, and he's out of bounds. Poor guy, I don't even know if he realized it.
The Lions won that one 44-30. It was the highest total of the week, 55.5. They lived up to it. Dallas, it feels like the momentum's a little bit over. Detroit, are they figuring things out on offense without Ben Johnson?
Man, they're up and down. It's their week to week. I don't know what to expect from Detroit. I think, but the crazy thing is they haven't lost back to back, like 14 straight times, something like that. They really bounced back after a bad L, and they bounced back on Dallas, and Dallas reminded us why they're the Cowboys. As soon as you believe in them, they come out, and Pickens is not running routes and all this other stuff. It's controversy. Yeah, the Cowboys are probably done, and they had their opportunities to capitalize.
All right, let's get to today, starting with an NFC matchup at 1 o'clock. The Seahawks coming back east again at 9-3 to take on the 4-8 Atlanta Falcons.
This is ludicrous.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't tell Ludacris what's ludicrous. Ludacris tells you what's ludicrous.
Okay.
Oh, that is ludicrous.
He performed before the SEC championship game yesterday, right?
Did he? I didn't see that.
Not at 10 in the morning, though. It's probably a nice change up for him. The Seahawks, 7.5-point favorites going into Atlanta.
Yeah, I expect Seahawks to win this one. Atlanta, I'm more upset about this team than any other team in the league right now. I had high expectations for this Falcons team. But the Seahawks, I think, go ahead and win. Even though they're coming east, I think they're just a better team.
I'd say West Coast team coming east, but Drake London's out. Give me Seattle to win by more than a touchdown. All right, I'm just going in the order we print them out so me and Ryan can stay on the same page. We'll get into some of the bigger games later, but I want to highlight this one. This is for temporary first place in the division. It's also, oddly enough, a lot of these are the first meeting between these divisional teams. So the Steelers and Ravens still haven't played yet this year. They'll meet today, both at 6-6.
You humiliated me on national television, so I want restitution.
The Ravens, 5.5-point favorites. Lamar Jackson did miss some practice time this week. He's still banged up, but he is expected to play in this game despite that ankle injury.
Yeah, he's not the same, man. He's not. He hasn't been for a month now. He's not. I don't know what's going on with him. I think he's got all kinds of injuries. But I'm gonna take the Steelers in this one because I do not believe in the Ravens offense at all. I don't believe much in the Steelers either, but I don't believe in the Ravens offense at all. It just does not look right.
I can't pick the Steelers after that game against Buffalo last week. The Bills only ran like 3 plays. They kept running that outside zone stretch, whatever you want to call it, and the Steelers beat like a drum by the same play over and over. You can't stop that. And look,
the Ravens are going to do it then 100 times.
Right. The Bills have a good run game, but they're not the Ravens.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Ravens to win this one, temporarily grab first place in the AFC. We'll get into whether or not that's a good thing for the Patriots coming up in a little bit. Another game with a lot of meaning to some. Maybe not to Patriots fans, but a lot of meaning to some. The 1-11 Titans at the 3-9 Browns.
And they won 2 world wars. 2 world wars by doing jumping jacks, push-ups, and sit-ups. 2 world wars.
Lowest total of the week by a wide margin. It's 34 points. As Shedeur Sanders makes a start, Browns are 4.5-point favorites in a game with significant draft implications here.
Yeah, I don't know which way this one's going to go. I got to believe in Cleveland right now. It's probably -8 degrees. So I don't think the team from Tennessee is going to go up there and do much. I don't know if they're trying to do much. But Cam Ward's been playing better. They've been scoring the ball. I mentioned they played the Seahawks in a tight one. But I think the Browns defense is just going to be overwhelming for the Titans. I don't expect this one to get higher than like 13-10.
Google tells me it's snowing right now in Cleveland.
No, there you go. I knew it was going to be messy. I'm
going to take Cleveland's ground game and that defense in the snow. Give me the Browns to cover 4.5. That under 34, though, I mean, that game could be 13-3.
Yeah.
By the time that thing's said and done. Let's get back to the divisional games. This is another one, again, first meeting between these teams. Winner gets temporary hold of first place. The loser, like in that Steelers-Ravens game, now in a dark place in the wild card picture. This is the 8-4 Colts at the 8-4 Jaguars.
Rivalry is another tough one for me. It just feels like I'm throwing... I can't do it.
Kendra does not like the Colts. I'm sure this will be an emotional one for her. And despite Daniel Jones being banged up, despite the Colts having lost back-to-back games since coming off their bye, despite being on the road, Indy is a 1.5-point favorite over Kendra's Jaguars.
I don't know which way to go with this one. I think the Colts are better. I think they're a better team. Daniel Jones' leg didn't seem to bother him as much as I thought it would last week. But I think I'm going to take the Jags at home. I think they've been playing better. I think picking up Jacoby Myers was big for them. I think the Jags are just – a lot of their guys are coming around now. Give me the Jags at home.
You know, Jags have won a 3-4 since the bye. It feels like this is usually where –
they collapse.
The Jaguars fall apart, right? Ryan Garvin giving us a little downwards motion there. Here's the rest of their schedule, too. This is interesting. They got the Colts today. Then they got the Jets. Then they have the Broncos and the Colts. Those are back-to-back road games.
Ooh.
And then they end with the Titans. So they have 2 incredibly easy games and 3 very difficult games. The Jaguars stay weird. Shout out for Middleton. I'm going to take the Jags to win this one and then lose next week to the Jets. That's probably the more Jags.
But I was about to say, they're going to need to win that last game against the Titans. And they're going to lose it.
And the Titans are going to pull a 2024 Patriots and cost themselves the first pick.
You know what's going to happen.
I'll take the Jags today. They're going to buy a little more time. The collapse is coming. But
it's coming.
They got to get everybody's hopes up a little more. They got to get Kendra's hopes up a little more. By the way, Gary in Cleveland texting in, confirming it is, in fact, snowing out there. So thanks for the weather report, Gary. Let's continue in the 1 o'clock window. The 3-9 Commanders at 4-8 Vikings.
Roger Goodell is going full skull with the Vikings fans. Let's go. Come on, let's go, Viking fans.
Ugh. It's a shame coming into the season. This, on paper, was a great game. Vikings team that won a ton last year. J.J. McCarthy versus Jane Daniels. Jane Daniels has been hurt. J.J. McCarthy sucks. 3-9, 4-8. Vikings 1.5-point favorites at home.
Yeah, give me Washington. I think Washington is going to smoke these guys. I think is Jane Daniels playing? I believe.
I think he is supposed to be back for this game.
Yeah, I think they're healthy now.
At 3-9, there's not a lot of stakes, but he is expected to be back for this game.
Yeah, I think their team looked pretty good against Denver. They moved the ball against a good defense. I don't know what they're playing for right now, but I think Washington's going to blow the Vikings out of the water.
I think Jayden Daniels probably wants to get some good games under his belt heading into year 3. I'll take the Commanders as well, who again are underdogs going into face 9 in the Vikings. We got an AFC East matchup, the 5-7 Dolphins at the 3-9 Jets.
What does it mean to you now when the team is struggling?
I want to kiss you. I couldn't care less about the team struggling.
Dolphins quietly hanging around for a playoff spot, 3 games out at 5-7. They continue to rip through. It's an easy schedule. They beat the Commanders, the Saints. Now they have the Jets, Steelers next week. Then it gets a little tougher down the stretch. Do the Dolphins continue to hang around and make some noise, or do the Jets pick up the win in their rivalry uniforms? Miami 3.5-point favorites in New York.
Yeah, only reason I give the Jets the edge in this one because they're playing at home. I think it's cold. You got the Florida team coming up north. But, man, the Dolphins, they're feeling something, man. I don't know what it is or how they're doing it. They got easy schedule, but, again, we thought they were one of those easy teams. So I got to give the Dolphins their credit. They've been winning games. I think they can beat the Jets team because I think they're better, but the Jets playing at home. Yeah, give me the Jets in the real close ones, but if we're going to keep saying that the Bengals are coming, we got to give the Jets credit because they do have a better record than Cincinnati at this point. So I guess the Dolphins are in it until they're not. So, give me the Jets at home in this one.
I'm going to take the Jets. It's not quite freezing. It's supposed to be 41 at kickoff, but Mike McDaniel's record in the cold is not bad. Also, this is usually the time of the year where the Jets start to win and ruin their draft pick. Nick Folk, that massive field goal last week. Shout out Nick Folk. I'm going to take the Jets as well, at least to cover 3.5, if not to win. Staying in the 1 o'clock window, the 2-10 Saints at the 7-5 Bucks.
Which is Tom's favorite ring?
I know this one.
Giselle loves this one too.
You've got. I was gonna.
That's awesome. It's tied for the largest spread of the week. Tampa 8.5-point favorites at home against the lowly Saints.
Yeah, give me Tampa. Saints are like the Titans. I don't know if they're really trying to win these games at this point. Give me Tampa at home, who's trying to reestablish themselves as one of the top teams.
Adam Schefter reporting this morning, too. Mike Evans trying to make it back in the next couple of weeks. Tampa right there with the Panthers in the division. Big spot for them. Give me Tampa. Final game in the 1 o'clock window. It's a big one. Highest total of the day, 53.5 points between the Bengals and Bills.
We are what our record says we are, as they say.
At the 50-yard line, you are trespassing. Get off the field.
You know, get opportunities to win the game.
Is on its way.
Opportunities to win the game.
That clip's going to hit a little different when McDermott inevitably gets fired. Bills, 5.5-point favorites at home. Cerrone, I was doing some research on this game this week. This surprised me. How many times do you think Joe Burrow's faced the Bills in his career?
Oh, man, it feels like a lot. 3 times?
Twice, and only once in the regular season.
Really?
They were both in the 2022 season. He has gone into Buffalo and beat them. He did it in the playoffs, but and it's not even the injuries. Like, the Bengals and Bills just have not played a lot the last few years. I was pretty surprised by that as well. But Burrow goes to Buffalo today. Bengals 5.5-point dogs. Who you got?
I think the Bills eat up that Bengals defense. I think that we're going to be reminded how bad that Bengals defense is today when they go into Buffalo. I think they're going to be able to run the ball. Once they run the ball, play action is going to be there, and Josh Allen's going to do his thing. I think he's going to eat that Bengals defense up. So give me the Bills at home. I say by 10 points or more.
I was not impressed with the Bills last week, even though they beat the Steelers pretty handily. I think that was more about the Steelers just being bad. Bills' defense looked a little bit better. I do think this is a high-scoring game, but the Bills need this one. They're backed into a corner. I'm with you. I think the Bills take this one. Patriots fans going to be watching this one closely. 10-2 Broncos at 2-10 Raiders.
Danny who? Danny Woodhead. He's from Chadron State, don't you know? Let's hear it for Danny Woodhead. Where's he from? Chadron State.
That's right. Was it the Harlan Hill Trophy? I think he won as the best non-D1 player. Broncos 7.5-point favorites going into Denver. Now remember, last time these teams played, it was in Denver. It was on a Thursday night, and the Broncos had to hold on close. They barely won. Do the Raiders give us a game today, Cerrone, or do the Broncos cruise? And is the Harlan Hill Trophy?
The Broncos give us a game. I don't think they've beaten anybody by 7.5 points this season. Every game seems to be a field goal game, even against bad teams. I think the Broncos will win, but I think it's going to be something like 21-17 or something like that. They win games, but for some reason they play down to their opponent and they let them kind of hang around. I'm giving me the Broncos, but I think the Raiders keep this one close because the Broncos let everybody hang around.
The Broncos have 3 games decided by more than 7 points this year. They beat the Titans 20-12 in week 1. They housed the Dallas Cowboys 44-24 at the end of October. And there was a third one. Where'd it go? Oh, and they beat the Bengals 28-3 in late September. So it's been.
Other than that, it's like 3-point wins.
Yeah, it's been a little over a month since they've beaten a team by more than one score. Divisional games are weird. It's in Vegas. I think the Broncos win. I don't think the Patriots get the help they need today. Now, the Broncos still have a tough schedule coming up.
Yeah.
They got the Packers, the Jags, the Chiefs, and the Chargers, although all but the Chiefs game are at home. I think the Raiders give us the game, but I think the Broncos pull it out.
Yeah.
Big game in the NFC. We've been mostly focused on the AFC. Big game in the NFC is the 9-3 Bears visit the 8-3-1 Packers.
Final Packer offensive lineman announced during pregame introductions was who?
Jerry Kramer.
No!
The Packers, 6.5-point favorites against Chicago at home. It is Toyota-thon, Cerrone.
Yep.
I don't know if you know about Jordan Love during Toyota-thon, but he is a force to be reckoned with. Who do you got?
Even with Toyota-thon, man, the Bears, the way they're running that football, man, in this time of year, and Micah Parsons, one of the reasons that Dallas said they got rid of him because he just doesn't do anything against the run. The Bears are going to put that to the test today. They're going to try and run at that Packers D-line all day and keep Jordan Love off the field. And I think they're going to be successful with it. I think Ben Johnson's one of the best offensive minds in the game. I think they figured this out, and I think the Bears, this isn't a primetime game, but I think they kind of show people how for real they are.
By the way, Jordan Love career during Toyota-thon, 4,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, 1 pick. Man loves him some Camrys.
Why is he not in any commercials?
I think he does have a deal with them. I think he posted something on Instagram when Toyota-thon started. I don't know why he's not in the commercials, but I do believe he has a deal with them. So I do not question Toyota-thon Jordan Love. Give me the Packers today. One more game in the 4 o'clock window. It's another 8.5-point spread between the 9-3 Rams and 3-9 Cardinals.
Every single week, I put my freaking heart and soul into this. I don't go out there and laugh. It's not funny.
The Rams bounce back?
Yes. Hey, Cardinals are in tank mode now. I think a few teams are getting locked in for watching the college football, getting their draft position ready. Give me the Rams and give me the Rams big in this one to make a statement. And I believe they're going to try and get Stafford the MVP. So look for them to run the score up.
Fernando Mendoza or Kyler Murray, who's starting week 1 next year for the Jets?
Oh, for the Jets?
Yeah.
It better be Mendoza. I'm not touching Kyler Murray.
Tonight, this might be the biggest game of the week. This game rules. I cannot wait to watch this. 7-5 Texans and 6-6 Chiefs.
Oh, hell no. They go that horse. I don't mess with horses, bro. Might come over here and throw a tantrum.
Patrick Mahomes against that defense. According to NFL.com, and I'm not a big believer in these things, but just to hype the game up, Chiefs playoff odds drop to 11% with a loss. They'd be 6-7. Do the thing.
Yeah.
Chiefs, though, are 3.5-point favorites. The game is at Arrowhead, so they do have that. Taking the Texans outdoors in the cold. I'll get the weather. Who do you like?
Give me the Texans because I think Kansas City sat 3 offensive linemen today. I think both tackles and a guard are out.
They're banged up, yeah.
Against this pass rush? Give me the Texans this one in a low scoring, I don't know, 24-21 type game, something like that.
You're right on it.
Yeah.
Total's 41. It's 3.5-point spread. Very interested to watch this one as Patriots fans. It's going to be the high 20s at kickoff. Going to dip into the low 20s by the time the game's over. We know that Houston defense is good. How does it travel? How does it travel in the cold? That's going to be, because if they come up here, what's that going to look like, right? Mm-hmm. I can't pick the Chiefs. I can't pick against the Chiefs' backs against the wall. I'll take Houston to cover the 3.5, though, at least. And I would not be surprised if Houston won this game, but I'm going to pick the Chiefs.
Is it if Kansas City loses? Is that it?
11% playoff odds. That's what the computer's telling me. Feels like it. And finally, Monday night, little interconference action between the 8-4 Eagles and 8-4 Chargers.
San Diego Superchargers, San Diego Chargers.
The Birds, 2.5-point favorites going into L.A.
I think they need a bounce back win. I'm gonna take the Eagles in that one. I don't know where I stand when it comes to the Chargers. They week to week with them. Give me the Eagles in a bounce back with this one.
I'm kind of unsure about where both these teams are.
Yeah,
being honest. And Don't the Eagles kind of have to win this? Isn't it panic mode if the Eagles don't have like a solid performance in this game in Philly?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's. I know the fans booed them off the field last game, so you can't lose this one and expect to come back and everybody treat you kindly. But yeah, they need this because I think they need home field when they get to the playoffs. Because I don't know if they want to go to Chicago, who ran them off their own field in January, and they don't want to go to LA, so they have to win this game against the Chargers in order to keep their reputation alive.
Kind of wild. This is the only interconference game this week. A lot of big games, a lot of important playoff games. The bye weeks, the Patriots, of course, and the Panthers, Giants, and Niners. I want to get into some more of these big AFC games. We'll do that next, plus your calls here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
More Sunday Kickoff is on the way on the Sports Hub.
'Tis the season to celebrate. the end zone.
Thanksgiving on deck.
With a Thanksgiving wish for the parents as well.
Burrow checks, they check. Eventually they bring some people. And the matchup that Cincinnati wants is Andre Yosevich on Roquan Smith. The Mike linebacker trying to cover a slot receiver with no safety help. That is hard to do.
Are the Bengals lurking? And how does it impact the Patriots? Again, it's a great AFC slate today. Alex Barth, Cerrone Battle, Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff. And all the talk of the Chiefs potentially missing the playoffs. And the Bills are the last team in right now at 8-4. Now, there's only one team at 7-5, and then there's a couple teams at 6-6. So they're not in the spot that the Chiefs are.
Mm-hmm.
But they lose today, especially if they lose and Houston wins, the picture suddenly gets very crowded. Are the Bills in actual trouble? Or is this just me not liking the Bills? And as a Patriots fan, this is the toughest one to figure out for me rooting interest-wise. Because ideally, I don't want the Bills there. I don't want to risk a third matchup with the Bills. I don't like playing a team 3 times in a year.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're hanging out at the bottom of the standings, that matchup's probably going to come quicker than if they're, say, the 5 seed versus the 7 seed. So, ideally, I'd rather them not be in the playoffs. But if they're going to be there, again, I'd rather they be the 5 seed so that the Patriots maybe get them a little later and maybe they have to go to Denver first. And Buffalo has not been good on the road this year. Mm-hmm. So, who do you root for? Do you root for them to get the win and move up in the wild card picture? Do you root for them to lose and maybe they miss the playoffs entirely? This is a tough one to figure out for me as a Patriots fan, Cerrone. I don't know about you, but I'm going to root against the Bills because it's me. But I just think if you're looking at it objectively, it's a tough one to figure out. It
is tough to figure out. I mean, you try and line up who you want to see the Patriots to play, who you want to avoid. And I don't, at this point, I'm not sure if there's much difference between that grouping of teams. Some teams you got to worry about the defense. Others you got to worry about the Hall of Fame quarterbacks. So it's you kind of got to pick your poison there. But I want to see the Bills lose. I just want to see them lose. I want to see Bills Mafia struggle to stay off social media for the next week. I want to see. I just want to see them collapse. I get joy out of that. And if the Bengals, I'm not worried about the Bengals making it either. I just want the Bengals to kind of play spoiler for us. Kind of ruin things like they did to the Ravens last week, and possibly do to the Bills this week. Just play spoiler, just ruin everybody else's day, and then you ultimately collapse in the end because your defense isn't good enough. But I want to see the Bills lose, and I'm kind of rooting for chaos. Almost like the ACC in this situation right now. I
wasn't rooting for Duke last night, besides
yes, chaos.
Virginia fans. That was awesome. I'm with you. And look, Cincinnati, I don't really trust Baltimore or Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So they're still sort of in this mix. They're going to lose a game on somebody today if they lose because Baltimore and Pittsburgh play each other. But I'd rather see Cincinnati than Baltimore. I think I'd rather see Pittsburgh of all of them, especially Rodgers in the playoffs. But that thing's going to be interesting. Some easier ones to figure out or maybe not, for Patriots fans. Steelers, Ravens, again. This is one of those ones, I definitely fear the Ravens more than I fear the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want the Ravens to lose and be out of the playoff picture, or do you want them to, they're not going to be the wild card, I guess. Yeah, I think you're rooting for the Steelers in this one if you're a Patriots fan.
Yeah, because you talk about a team you want to play. I want to play the Steelers. I don't care where it's at. I think that's a gimme game. I just think they're in a bad spot right now. The quarterback situation, calling out the receivers, then you got his Tomlin on the hot seat. Their defense is bad. I just think the Steelers are in a bad spot, but that's a team I want to see the Patriots play because I feel real confident they can go out there and smoke the Steelers. But I mean, that's a weird dynamic there with them. I don't know what's going on there, but I want to see them get in over Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I mean, Cincinnati still has the ability to be great somewhere with those receivers and quarterback, but outside of that, give me the Steelers. I mean, they're just too beatable. Give me the Steelers.
Colts, Jaguars. First place in the division on the line. Now the loser, so Steelers Ravens is really a playoff game because at 6-7, do the thing. you're probably not getting into the play. It's going to be really hard to get to the playoffs from 6 and 7. It's going to be very difficult. 7 and 6, you're in the driver's seat for the division. You're in better shape. Jaguars, Colts, the losers 8 and 5. They're still in the mix. Depending on what happens around the league and depending on what happens with Houston, that team could temporarily fall out of the playoff picture, but you're definitely going to have a way to get back into it. I do wonder, though, like, is this going to be, how bad is the backslide going to be for Indy? They've lost 2 in a row since the bye, 3 of 4 overall. They still have the Seahawks, the Niners, the Jags again, and then they close with the Texans. Like, if the Colts lose today, and remember,
that's it.
Traded those picks for Sauce Gardner, who's now hurt.
And he's out.
And by trading those picks, they're probably going to have to extend Daniel Jones. Are the Colts staring in the face of a disaster if they lose today?
Yeah, and Sauce has got these, not an Achilles, but he's got the calf strain. He's going to be out a little bit. They're going back with your quarterback has a broken leg. Yeah, they're in a bad spot, and that schedule is brutal. This could be one of the most epic falls of any team in a long time, to be that good that late in the season and just fall apart like they have. They're in some serious trouble, and I think they've kind of been figured out. They need this win. They need to stack as many wins as they can. And look, they're both in a situation where if they lose this game, things only get harder. So I think the Colts have to figure out a way to win this game in Jacksonville. If not, this could be the end for that whole thing right now.
Again, it's not as dire as the AFC North, but to your point,
it can be.
For the Colts, given their compounding issues, you got to figure out a way to win this one. Plus, currently the first team out at 7 and 5, but lurking, and if they win today, will be a game back in the division no matter what happens there, is the Houston Texans. And this defense that is figured out. And they've gotten C.J. Stroud back. Now, the offense has been hot and cold. But if they go into Arrowhead, Cerrone, and beat the Kansas City Chiefs,
you got to watch them.
Do they become the scariest team in the AFC playoff field?
Could be. It could be. And the only question we have is that, like you said, that offense has been up and down. They struggle running the football and all that other stuff. So, yeah, I think they're a team that you got. I think they're a scary team anyway because of that pass rush. And I think it's going to be on full display today. I fully expect them to go out there and get after Pat Mahomes and ruin the day. But yeah, you don't want to face the Texans. If Stroud gets hot and that defense is playing like that, that is a dangerous football team. And they're back to being a team we thought they were going to be for the last couple of years. A good defensive team with an elite quarterback with great receivers on the outside. Again, running situation is a little iffy, but in the offensive line. But I think that's a dangerous team. And no one wants to face a pass rush that can ruin your day like the one they have.
So that's one where do Patriots fans start rooting for the Chiefs? Because even if the Chiefs win today, they won't be back in the playoff picture. Mm-hmm. It helps their odds. They'd be 7 and 6, but there's 3 8-win teams in the wild card spots right now. So they wouldn't be back.
And they play. Who do they play next? Denver. They got Denver and the Chargers again. I believe.
Denver. I don't think Denver's next. There's one more. Yeah, they got the Chargers and then the Chargers, then the Titans, then Denver.
They got a gimme in there.
They do have a gimme in there. And the Chargers at Kansas City, they should win that too. So they can come storming back. But as a Patriots fan, do you root for the Chiefs today? That's something to consider. So that's
nope.
Sorry, go ahead.
Nope. I said nope.
No, I might be with you. Like Houston scares me, but I might be with you. Plus, if they win the division, now maybe you get them. That's where the 1 seed would be big. Because now do you get them going to Denver for the 2-3 matchup? And then you eliminate one of those defenses. The total in that game might be 20 points between Denver and Houston. But that's a look at the stakes around the league today. And then real quick, Bears-Packers is fun. Again, I just think that's a good game to watch.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun game.
Hopefully it's snowing in that game, too. That'd be great for TV.
Hopefully. It's in Green Bay, right?
Yes.
Green Bay weather. It is not snowing, but it's currently 10 degrees.
It's awesome.
It's supposed to start snowing tomorrow. But no snow, but it is 10 degrees. It's not even windy. It's just cold and stale.
That's football.
High of 17, low of 2. It's a 4:00 game, so temperature's going to be coming back down. Probably is going to be like mid-low teens by the time that one kicks off.
Green Bay Tourism Board should put that on a sign. Welcome to Green Bay, cold and stale.
Cold and stale. Which is kind of what it might be like at Gillette next week. Well, the Patriots play the Bills. I do want to talk about that game a little bit. We'll have a full preview show next week. This is a big game. It deserves 2 weeks hype. So we'll talk about that next, and we will go right to your calls as well, because I see you guys want to talk about it too. So Tony, Pat, John, stay on the phone. We'll get to you next here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
More Sunday Kickoff coming up on the Sports Hub. Doors creaking, windows sticking. Might be time to look at your foundation. station for the best football coverage. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Back here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff, Alex Barth, Cerrone Battle. You want to join us? 617-779-0985. We'll go right to your phones. Time to talk a little bit about that Patriots-Bills game coming up in 2 weeks. Tony in Canada. Tony, what do you got?
Hi, guys. Good morning. How great is it to be able to be talking about playoff positions and all this at this time of the year, considering the last 2 years we've had? It's just a real pleasure, rather than talking about draft picks where we're at now. It's just amazing. And I heard earlier what you guys said, and yeah, I agree. It's hard to root for the Bills. I'm really kind of I'm not sure which way to go about it, but I remember what people say, that if you match up with the same team 3 times in a year, chances of beating them 3 times is way, way down.
Yep.
But as far as I'm concerned, I was a little worried too when we were going to play the Bills next week, thinking it would be a revenge game. But after I saw how great the Patriots had played against New York, how much they got up for that game, I'm expecting that to be the same next week and even that much higher. Being that if we beat them, we lock up the AFC. So we get to take that AFC East title back away from the Bills. It belongs to us. We do it in front of the fans. But how is that matchup going to go? Are we going to be able to beat the Bills? Are we going to be able to stop their running game again? Are we going to be able to get into the AFC? Are we going to be able to get into the end zone? Are we going to be able to stop the other team from getting into the end zone? That's the question. And lastly, thanks for the great show. You guys are getting better every week. I really mean that. I enjoy listening to the show so much. So thanks for that, and I'm going to listen. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for calling, Tony, as always.
Thank you.
So we'll get more to the specifics of the matchup next week. The big thing for me, I'll just kind of give this to watch for during the week. The Bills are run-first offense. Like, they're better when the ball's in James Cook's hands than they are when it's in Josh Allen's hands. And I should say Josh Allen as a passer. He's been tremendous as a runner the last few weeks. They're not getting Milton Williams back. He's still on IR, like he's not eligible to return. They need Kyrus Tonga back. Getting Tonga back for this game would be massive. And then how else do you improve against the run? You're looking at the linebackers, Robert Spillane, Christian Ellis, Jack Gibbons, to maybe give you a little more in this game. But that's what I'm looking at. They're going to have to stop the run. You should get the best punch from both teams. The Bills, It is a revenge game. They're going to be up for it regardless of what happens this week. And then on the Patriots side, hat and t-shirt game. Like, I expect both teams. I expect to see the best version of both teams in this game.
I think with this game next week, I'm pretty sure it was on their checklist of accomplishments is to win the division. And I'm pretty sure that's what they're driving home to the players. We got our first chance to check off one of our accomplishments by winning this game next week. And I think I'm looking at the opposite side of the ball. I think one thing that's changed since the first matchup is the Bills' run defense has gotten worse.
Yeah, they're hurt without Ed Oliver.
Yep. And I think you can, with the way Henderson's come on and with Stevenson being back and he's got time off, like you said, to kind of rest his body a little bit, I expected the two-headed monster against the Bills. I think they run the ball on Buffalo and see if they can stop it. I mean, they beat Tampa, but Tampa was running up and down the field. And the same thing against Houston. Houston hasn't been a good running team all season. Houston ran all over them. So I think the Bills are going to have problems stopping the run. And I think that's where you attack them. And you keep Cook and Allen on the sidelines by running the football. And you, like you said, hat and T-shirt, you're putting that on the board. You're showing them, hey, we win a division here tonight, and let's go ahead and get it done. But I think they can run the ball on that Bills team.
I'm trying to remember if they had a hat and T-shirt game in 2018 or 2019. Because I'm trying to remember if I covered one when I started. Now, back then I worked for CLNS, and I took care of like the press conference room. Evan Lazar covered the locker room, so I don't really go in there, post game. So maybe they did, and I just don't remember it. But either way, it's been a while. Even if they did it one of those years, it's been a while. It'd be not just to do it, because they'll have other chances to do it if they don't do it against the Bills, but to do it at home, holds a little extra weight. And Mike Vrabel talked about coming into this year, they were the worst home team in football since 2021. So you even count that year, and then they were okay. They were a 500 team in 22 before the wheels really fell off. But even including those years, they were the worst team in the NFL at home, which is not what you want to be.
Yep.
And so not just being better at home, but clinching the division at home, that holds meaning. You can say it's more of an aesthetic, but that holds meaning. Mm-hmm. John in Plymouth has another thought on the potential hat and T-shirt game. John.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Tony and you guys just hit on it. The hat and T-shirt game. I mean, that's got to be the checkbox number one. We're back. We're taking our AFC East back again after 7 years, or actually 6 years. And also, too, I'm changing my angle here because y'all sort of stole my thunder, but this is good. I love being able to kick back on a bye week, no anxiety, right? Just watch some good football with good rooting interest, right? I can finally relax. I'm going to have a bonfire going outside. I'm going to have my TV outside. It's going to be great. And then the last point here is also, what's better than some good old Jim Murray schadenfreude for the Buffalo Bills fans? They missed their window. They had their chance, and now it's over for them. So thank you very much, guys.
Thanks for the call, John. You put it perfectly. I sit back on the couch, watch this football, rooting interest. You say no anxiety, though. When we're watching Geno Smith trying to drive for a game-tying field goal at about 6:30 today against that Broncos defense, you're going to feel a little bit of anxiety as a Patriots fan. Again, not a lot. The Broncos have tougher games coming, but remember, if the Broncos win today, and I got to remember the name of the Broncos writer that had this, but one of the tiebreakers that it would come down to between the Patriots and Broncos, you have to go a couple in. They don't have a head-to-head, right, is conference record. The Patriots have already played all of their NFC games. The Broncos still have one left. So when you get down to conference opponents and this and that, if the Broncos win today and the Patriots and Broncos finish with the same record, whatever that is, if they both lose one more game, if they both lose two more games, the Broncos would have the tiebreaker. So the Broncos would essentially control their own destiny, because if they win out and the Patriots win out, they'd both have the same record. So that door opens up a little bit more if the Broncos lose today. Now, again, the Broncos still have the Packers, the Jaguars, and the Chiefs, and it's at the Chiefs. So the Broncos can't clinch the 1 seed today, but it's just if they finish with the same record. So there's a little more to that game. And I think the Broncos are going to win, so it's not going to matter. But we're going to feel a little anxiety. Give it to Genty. Come on, give it to Genty. Like, you're going to hear that yelled in New England today at some point, I'm sure. Patty in Agawam with a thought here to wrap up this segment. Patty, good morning.
What's up, guys? So real quick before I get to my question, Alex, the last hat and T-shirt game was 2019 at home, I believe, in Week 16 against Buffalo. Yep. That was Allen's second year, I believe. So my question for you guys is, would you rather Drake May win the MVP or be first-team All-Pro this year? And I'll give you my thought. I'm with Cerrone. I think the Rams coaches, I think they're going to do everything that they can to put Stafford in a position to win this award. I think the voters, they also want to see him win this award, kind of like a Lifetime Achievement Award. So I think I would rather see May win the MVP, because I think all the odds are going to be against him to do it, unless they just rip out these last 4 wins and May plays out of his mind and they have no other choice but to give it to him. But I think, as far as like all the other variables, I think are going to be stacked against him to win it. And I'll take it off air, guys.
Thanks for the call, Patty. I know David Andrews had an interesting take on this week, that he doesn't want May to win the MVP, because there is like a little curse that comes with that when it comes to the postseason. Side rant here, it shouldn't be a question. It should be the same. If you're the first team All-Pro,
you should be
quarterback,
MVP.
You should be the MVP, because it's the same voters. And Josh Allen won his fraud MVP last year as a Lifetime Achievement Award, even though Lamar Jackson was better, because they're like, well, we got to give him one because he's got to get one eventually. Even though Jackson, they all admitted in the All-Pro voting, was a better quarterback. It's the Joel Embiid MVP. It's the same thing. Well, he's got to get one eventually, so we'll give it to him this year. Only 3 times has the MVP not been the first team All-Pro. I believe it's the overall qualifier. Maybe it's just a quarterback. The last one was Steve McNair in 2003, but I think he was co-MVPs.
He was co-MVP with Manning.
So that's a little different.
And Brady beat them both. Awesome.
And then John Elway in 1987. Yeah, so here, from ESPN, Allen was the first player in 21 seasons to win MVP without being selected first-team All-Pro. Since MVP was handed out in 1957, the only players to win the award despite not being a first-team All-Pro were John Elway in 1987. Joe Montana was the first-team All-Pro that year. And Steve McNair when it was Peyton Manning. But again, they were co-MVPs that year. So I don't think that one really it's different. So basically, it'd be the first time since 1987. Unless they make Drake May and Matthew Stafford co-MVPs. No, stick to your guns if you're the voter. It should be the same guy. Allen shouldn't have won it last year. They admitted Lamar Jackson was the better player, and he was. It also probably should have been Saquon Barkley last year, but that's another conversation. I think Stafford's going to get both, ultimately, at the end of the day. I think Drake May has had an MVP season. I think Stafford is going to get both. I guess I'd rather him win the first-team All-Pro because you look at the history, the trend of the MVP not having success in the playoffs. Not that that means much.
Yeah.
But I just want it to be the same guy because that's so annoying that the same voters pick 2 different people for what's essentially the same award.
Yeah, and that lets you know that they're just giving it to them.
Split it. No, you don't get to do that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right. It's just that's kind of just them openly saying that they just wanted to give one to Allen,
right?
Just so he can get it out the way. I think your Embiid a comparison is spot on. And with the David Andrews take about the MVP doesn't usually win Super Bowls. It's very similar to the NBA. I think if you win a scoring title, it's like 3 guys have done it. SGA just did it. But in the NBA, I think it was like Jordan, Shaq, and Kareem are the only players in history to win scoring title and the championship. It's kind of, if you win one, you're not going to win the other. It was weird. But look, I want to see the kid win MVP and All-Pro. I think he's earned it. I think he's deserved it. And I think he's done the most with the least. And I think he should be the MVP of the league so far. We don't know how it's going to play out. But so far, up till now, I think Drake May should be the MVP of this league.
I will say, if he does win it, so they hand the awards out that Thursday night before the Super Bowl, right? There's been a lot of talk this year. Oh, the Patriots are back. We're so back. We're so back. And I think part of that for Patriots fans, and Felger said this week is an insult. I'll say the same thing kind of as a comment. Patriots fans love to take a victory lap. They just do. They like to tell everybody how great the team is. That's being a fan. Like, I don't have a problem with it. Short of winning the Super Bowl, is there more of a we're back on a national stage that Thursday night you could hypothetically have Drake May MVP, Mike Vrabel Coach of the Year, maybe Stephon Diggs Comeback Player of the Year? The odds are getting a little long on that one, but maybe. And in addition to the end-of-year awards, they also announced the Hall of Fame class that night.
Yeah.
So you could have May MVP, Vrabel Coach of the Year. Found out this week, Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft finalists, Vinatieri, Harrison, Wilfork. I mean, it could be a Patriots extravaganza. And then if they do actually make a run, and by the way, they're playing in the Super Bowl in 3 days. Short of winning that game, I don't know that there's more of a we're back moment that you could get than that night. There would be pants off around New England. But
I don't think any other team would have a day like that.
I mean, that
can match that.
That's past, present, and future right there.
Yeah.
Long way to go for a lot of that to happen, though. But I do want to talk more about the Hall of Fame classes and that angle of it because we got some news on that this week. What's going to happen next there? We will talk about that next. It's Alex Barth and Cerrone Battle on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
Stay tuned for more Sunday Kickoff on the Sports Hub.
This is Sean Grady, voice of the Celtics. Tune in today at 3 for Star Market Celtics Today and check out the Star.
he's immediately enshrined in Canton on the first try undermines any remaining credibility that the selection process has. Do you agree with that assessment?
Fully agree with it. We're saying that now in terms of staking out territory, and because we both know that there's going to be so much hand-wringing, because I do think sometimes the members feel as if, or the voters feel as if, it's incumbent upon them to just parse and parse and parse and parse. So you'll ignore the 6 Super Bowls and the 9 Super Bowl appearances and the fact that he's second in all-time wins, and instead focus on, hey, well, this happened in 2007. What about Deflategate? Did he really not know? A lot of scandal there. And, he wasn't always helpful. I think voters sometimes feel as if it walks like a duck, it talks like a quacks, like all that stuff, it's a duck. It's a Hall of Fame person. You don't have to try and squint and say, well, maybe it's not really a Hall of Famer because of this or that. Or get into that BS about first ballot stuff. If you're a Hall of Famer, you're a Hall of Famer.
Committees for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So the way how it works, and they've tweaked this a little bit the last few years, there's the Modern Era Committee, which is what you think of. That's like the bulk of the Hall of Fame voting. It's most of the players, and they're currently on their semifinalists. They have 26 right now. That list will be trimmed one more time, I believe, to 9 players, if I remember correctly. And then they go on the final ballot. So that group is trimmed down further. They are joined on the final ballot. There is, and this is where it's changed. It's been split up. There is a coach committee, a contributor committee, and a seniors committee. The coach committee is self-explanatory. Contributor is owners, GMs. I think like the guy who started NFL Films got in on that a couple of years ago, just like other. And then the seniors committee is for players who last played a game before 2000. So anybody who maybe slipped through the cracks. So the coaches and contributors committee each get 1 finalist. The seniors gets 3. And then they go on the final ballot with the modern era finalists. And it's as few as 4 and as many as 8 from that whole group. And I think you can only have 1 of the 3 seniors finalists or something like that. But they don't have to pick a contributor or coach. They go on that final ballot. For instance, Mike Holmgren was the finalist from the coaches committee last year. Bill Belichick's first ballot this year, so he wasn't there. It was Holmgren last year, and he obviously didn't get in. So we know at this point, Bill is moving on. Robert Kraft is moving on. Stanley Morgan did not. He was up for the seniors. And then I would imagine we're getting the modern era finalists this week. Among the former Patriots on the semifinalists that can move on, Vince Wilfork, Rodney Harrison, and Adam Vinatieri, who's long overdue, only in his second year on the ballot. That's what we're looking at going in. How many Patriots do we get in this class? Bill, like Tom Curran said there, don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick not being a first Hall of Fame ballot Hall of Famer would be a sham. There's no other way to put it. Who goes in with him, though? That is the question. Does anybody from the Patriots go in with him? He said in the statement this week he's looking forward to all of the deserving Patriots nominees. I'm paraphrasing there. I forget the exact quote, and he mentioned Robert Kraft getting in with him.
Yeah, I think Kraft should be a no-brainer as much as Belichick. Like he says, if Jerry Jones is in for his 4 seasons of success, I think Robert Kraft should be in the Hall of Fame. I think he should be a no-brainer as well. And, me and you are in complete agreement about this. Rodney Harrison should have been in. Statistically, I don't think there's too many safeties who ever played the game who have done what Rodney Harrison has done. Plus, he has Super Bowls to match. There's been guys from teams. There are many guys in the Hall of Fame because their team was the team for a year or two. They won a Super Bowl and they were popular in their ring. Like if you play for the Steelers in the 70s, you're in the Hall of Fame. And we nitpick champions now, but Rodney Harrison has the rings, he has the hardware, and statistically, he was better than guys. He was better than most teams' favorite players. I'm putting Dawkins and Polamalu. He's up there with those guys and was more all around and complete and should have been in the Hall of Fame. Maybe they're keeping him out because of, considered a dirty player and all this stuff. The Hall of Fame's full of dirty players, and we used to celebrate him until it became a Patriots thing. But Rodney should have been in. I think Vince Wilfork was probably one of, if not the best. Probably, I would say one of. one of the best interior linemen of his era. And it was an era full of dominant defensive linemen. And he was, excuse me, interior guys, D tackles. And he was one of the best at that position. And again, has the hardware to match it. So I think this Patriots team should be treated just like the other dynasties of the 70s, the 80s, the Steelers, the Cowboys, and the Niners, and Packers back in the day. If all those guys can get in, this Patriots dynasty team should be full of Hall of Famers because they kept winning, and that's the name of the game. So I think they all should be in, but because they're all Patriots, they're going to figure out a way to keep. We can't put all of them in at one time. So they're going to figure out a way to not put them in.
That's the thing that I think is going to hurt them. And looking at it objectively, not that some, obviously, again, Bill should get in, Vinatieri should get in, but what should help some of these guys is, look, it's the Hall of Fame. It's obviously an impressive list, but the modern era side of things, I don't think it's a little bit of a weaker group than it's been in recent years. That's relatively speaking. So some of the guys like Drew Brees is going to get in. It's his first year on the ballot. Like, he's going to get in. Larry Fitz is going to get in. It's his first year on the ballot. Kuechly should, but he didn't last year, so I don't know what the deal is there. But those are really the only two guys I look at that like have to get in this year.
Yeah,
are Brees and Larry Fitz in terms of like league wide. Again, Vinatieri should, but clearly the committee's not going to put him in. Kuechly, same thing. But that opens up a few more spots. Again, Robert Kraft, I think he deserves it. I just don't think they're super eager to vote for that contributor committee. And the senior finalists, by the way, Ken Anderson, Larry Craig, L.C. Greenwood. Like, Larry Craig was a really good, Roger Craig. Roger Craig was a really good player. I don't know.
I always thought he was already in.
No, he's not in. So he'll be on it this year. He probably has a shot, but do they look in and say, okay, we're putting Bill in, we're putting Adam Vinatieri in. Man, Robert's probably going to get in. Okay, well, we can't also put Rodney in, and now it's 4 of 8, right? Is it going to hurt some of the guys further down? I worry about that. But it would be wild. And I also wonder, do they put consideration pro or con of putting Belichick and Kraft in together?
But this is what you run into, though. The Patriots were so dominant for so long. The longer you let them wait, you're running into a time now where you're going to have Brady and Gronk added to the list as well.
Right. Well,
you
those
see what
guys
I'm saying?
will be first ballot, and they'll be separate years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There'll be separate years. But you're going to have multiple Patriots, though, for the next couple of years. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, so, they're going to hit a logjam.
Yeah, and I mean, Vinatieri's the best in his position. Tom Brady's the best probably player of all time. Gronk's probably one of the best tight ends of all time.
Yeah.
I say probably he is one of the top tight ends of all time. Rodney Harrison of his era was one of the best at the position.
The best strong safety in the NFL for like a 4 or 5 year span. Ed Reed was still better, but they played different positions.
They played different positions, and you have to factor in the hardware, that's the winning. It's not just Larry Fitzgerald's got all the stats, but he has no wins. Drew Brees, all the numbers in the world, he won 1 Super Bowl. These guys were dominant when it comes to winning games. And I think that should hold way more weight than a guy just getting a bunch of stats for 10 years or so.
Do you think there'll be any consideration into putting Bill and Robert in together?
Yeah, I think you should. I think they should go in together. I think it'd be a good way to end their little
the last 3 years.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be really well. But I would love for all those guys to get a chance to go in, because I still think that Patriots team, that run they had, still hasn't been recognized the way it should. I think it's the greatest run in team sports, and I think they deserve their time to be recognized for their greatness, because you're never going to see that again. You didn't see it before, you ain't going to see it after. That run was amazing, and they need to be celebrated. And I think a Patriots Day where they're all getting in would be a fitting way for all this stuff to conclude.
I know this. We're going to be covering a Hall of Fame game at some point soon, and maybe 2, because they're probably going to do it for Brady. Do they do it for Bill too? And then it would be the Hall of Fame game next year, and then so Brady last played in 22. I think he'd be eligible in 2 years.
He played. I thought 21 was 22. You're right.
22 was his last year, so it's 5 years after. So he'd be the class of 2027. So it would be the Hall of Fame game for that would be. No, he wouldn't be the class of 27. This is the class of 27. When was Larry Fitzgerald's last game? This is why you don't do math on the air. Jimmy Stewart is sitting in the other room and knows all too. Okay, he's 2 years, so it's going to be Bill this year, then Gronk next year, then Brady the year after that. So do the Patriots play? They won't play the Hall of Fame game just for Gronk, I would think, but do they play it for Bill and then in 2 years for Brady as well? Real quick while we're on it, we'll get the lists of the modern era finalists next week, I would think. I believe those are supposed to come out next week. It's got to come soon. And then we'll do our ballot. It says they were supposed to be announced last week. All right, so those are coming anytime. Real quick, couple of bubble guys. Just curious where you're at here. Drew Brees, first year on the ballot, should be in. Agree?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Larry Fitzgerald, first year on the ballot, in. Agree? Frank Gore, where do you stand on Frank Gore? This is his first year on the ballot as well.
He's got the numbers, but I think it's kind of like the LeBron numbers, kind of a longevity thing.
But at running back, I feel like that. I don't. There probably aren't 8 guys I'd put him in over, but if the math lines up down the road for him, I think he deserves to get in.
Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of Frank Gore, but the numbers are there. I think he gets in.
Longevity at that position in this era is really impressive.
Yeah.
Here's one that, and he's been on the ballot, I think, for over 10 years now. But, Cerrone, would you agree that the 2000s were a pretty good decade for receiver play?
Absolutely.
Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, those guys doing their thing.
Yeah.
Do you know who leads in the 2000s, who had the most catches and receptions? One player had the most of each in the decade, and he's 5th in touchdowns in that decade, and he's the only player that's top 5 in all 3 in that decade?
I'm trying to think of who's not in. I'm trying to think of who isn't in already. Those numbers.
It's Torrey Holt. And by the way, Isaac Bruce is in. So you talk about great teams that need to get the guys in. The rest of the greatest show on turf is in. I don't know why Torrey Holt's not in.
That does not make. Yeah, I didn't know he was. I knew he was good. I'd put him in on the fact that he was able to get those numbers, and they had Marshall Faulk and Isaac Bruce. Like, he still put up those kind of numbers. That's insanity. That's crazy work for a guy. I don't know if you consider number 1 and number 2, but for basically a third, maybe that's why he's not in. They look at him as a third option and don't look at his numbers. Maybe they look and say, only reason he's got those numbers because those other guys were there. But it's kind of like a Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum thing. Well, the only reason Brown's good is because Tatum's getting all the attention. But it's weird, but he's got the numbers and he's got a Super Bowl. So one thing a lot of those receivers don't have is that Super Bowl. So he should be in.
In that decade, most catches, 868. Most yards, 12,000. 5th most touchdowns, 68. The only other player to finish top 5 in all of those categories in the 2000s was Marvin Harrison, and he was a first ballot. This is a decade in which Terrell Owens played. It's a decade in which Randy Moss played. It's a decade. I mean, name them. Yeah. Best decade for wide receiver play, maybe in league history, and he was the most statistically productive. It's part of the greatest show on turf. Luke Kuechly, yes or no?
Oh, yeah, I think Luke Kuechly is. I think he was the best.
Yeah, I know he had a shorter career, but he deserves to be in. Another Panther, Steve Smith, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, but not before Holt.
No.
I think he's behind Holt, but he's a Hall of Famer to me.
And real quick, Reggie Wayne is already in?
Reggie Wayne is also a semi.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, you can't put him in as a number 2 and not put Torrey Holt. Okay.
So Reggie Wayne's up, but I would put, so I had to rank him, I'd put Holt in, then Smith, then Reggie Wayne. Hines Ward's also on here. I don't know where you'd throw him in there. He's.
I'm not putting him in, but he's got the hardware.
Terrell Suggs.
Yeah, I think he's a Hall of Famer. Not first ballot, though. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
So this is his second year on the ballot.
Second year?
So
yeah, he'll get in eventually. I'm not rushing to put T-Sizzle in.
I forgot he played for the Chiefs at the very end. I remember he had a brief stint with the Cardinals. He's on the Chiefs in 2019.
I don't remember that at all.
A couple more here because we're up against it. Jason Witten.
Yeah, no. Oh, man, no. I'm not. He's going to have to wait. No.
His first year on the ballot.
No, he didn't win anything.
And then one more. Another guy that didn't win anything, was a very, very, very good player on a high-profile team. 10th year as a semifinalist. Darren Woodson.
That's a good one. I don't know about that one. I think not over the guys you've been naming. No, I'm not putting him in.
Oh, and then I missed one more big one on the ballot here. First year. This one's actually pretty contentious because I think he was underrated in terms of his talent, but he won nothing. Phillip Rivers.
Oh, yeah. He's going to – I think I can't put him in. I don't know when the other guys will be up, but I'm not putting him in over like the Eli's, Roethlisberger, because that guy's won. He didn't win anything.
But he's got the numbers. I just had this argument with my brother. He was such a better quarterback than Eli Manning. He's so much more talented than Eli Manning. I think if Eli's in, Rivers has to be in. Once Eli gets in, it opens the door. Like Flacco has to be in.
Yeah.
Rivers has to be in. Ben's probably getting in anyway, I would think.
He's a Steeler and he's got a Super Bowl. That's all that matters. That's all it takes.
I think Rivers all of it. He was so talented.
Rivers was very good.
He was just on some choking dog teams.
And it wasn't because of him.
Right. And if he doesn't get in, fine. You can't put Eli in over him. Because now it can't only be hardware. Hardware is a part of it.
Yeah.
But you also got to be a good football player. Like you're not putting Robert Ory. Right?
Yeah.
You're not putting Robert.
He's got all hardware and nothing else.
Is Robert Ory in the Hall of Fame?
No. God, no.
You're not putting that guy in. So there has to be a line there somewhere. Anyway.
Yeah.
That was some fun Hall of Fame talk. Let's get back to the modern NFL, though. Looking forward, Ryan Garvin, just like we did a couple weeks ago, has some more superlatives for us around the league. We'll get to that next here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
More Sunday Kickoff is on the way on the Sports Hub.
This December, Window Nation puts an end to your...
the swing right leg.
Every football game starts with the kickoff. This is Sunday Kickoff with Alex Barth and Cerrone Battle on your home for Patriots football. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Back here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff, Alex Barth, Cerrone Battle, Ryan Garvin back behind the glass. As we teased a couple times, because we have an extra hour of the show today, Ryan Garvin's got some superlatives for us. So if you missed this last time, we kind of did some Patriots picks. You know, big picture look at the season. I wanted to do more about the league as a whole. We didn't get to do that on that last show. So Ryan has brought them back, and we'll finish those out. Plus your calls. You want to join us here for the next half hour, 617-779-0985. Garvin, why don't you get us started?
Yes, Alex Cerrone. We use this bye week as a time of reflection in the NFL. We've spoken so much about the Patriots today. We might as well give the other 31 teams some shine as well. So the first superlative that I would like to pose to you two gentlemen is the award I will call New Team. Who this? We are going to look at the best and worst head coaches in their first year with a new team. Now, I purposely left out Mike Vrabel on purpose because I feel like it would be kind of easy to just go, well, it's obviously Vrabel. So we have Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, Brian Schottenheimer, Pete Carroll, and Kellen Moore. Alex, let's start with you. Who had the best year in their first year with a new team?
Honestly, Schottenheimer had a case until Thursday. They were doing relatively well. I think the debate between Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel is fascinating. I think it's Vrabel because I think he didn't inherit as much as Ben Johnson did.
Mm-hmm.
They both inherited the quarterback, but there's a little bit more on that Bears roster as you look at the amount of turnover Vrabel undertook. I also think Vrabel's a little more involved probably in the front office than Ben Johnson is. But if we're going to take Vrabel out of it, Jaguars are on a nice little run here. Liam Cohen, like I said, Schottenheimer had that team humming at one point for a little bit, but it's Ben Johnson short of Vrabel.
No love for Pete Carroll?
So we're going to get to that in a second. But
to me, it's Ben Johnson. I think outside of Vrabel, but out of this list, I'm going to go with Ben Johnson because not only did he turn the Bears around and kind of make them respectable, I think they're number one in the NFC right now if the playoffs were to start today, which is incredible. And they're doing it in a way that I don't think anybody expected, having guys run the ball the way they are. They're playing Bears football. And he basically was like, we got Caleb, but we're going to play. We're going to run the ball and be a physical team. We're not going to let this kid drop back 40-plus times. But I'm going to say Ben Johnson. But he did have some talent coming in there, but he's made the best of it.
Do you remember all the Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel debates we had back in January?
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine those two end up meeting in the Super Bowl.
That'd be great.
All right, Ryan, what's next?
Do you have the worst year for these first time, not first time, but first with their new team?
Yeah, so Alex? I think a lot of people would probably go to Aaron Glenn. Glenn was not given as much to work with. The Raiders roster is not a juggernaut, but they have Max Crosby, they have Brock Bowers. You know, they had a high pick. They decided to use on a running back despite not having an offensive line. And Pete Carroll's also Pete Carroll. He's supposed to be a Hall of Fame coach. I saw some people say this year, and I get why they said it, like, oh, everybody's talking about Bill Belichick's tarnishing his legacy at UNC. Why is nobody saying the same for Pete Carroll with the Raiders? I'll tell you why. It's because Pete Carroll tarnished his legacy on February 1st, 2015. Pete Carroll's legacy was irreparably damaged on that date. That's obviously
what happened that day.
Right, Super Bowl 49. But, like, more was expected out of Pete Carroll than Aaron Glenn. Pete Carroll was brought in to turn that thing around quickly. Aaron Glenn, that was always going to be a longer-term rebuild. So, of that group, Pete Carroll has been the most disappointing to me.
Yeah, I'm going to say Pete Carroll because I think we didn't expect the Raiders to win the division, but I think people thought the Raiders were going to be competitive. Remember all the talk before the season started? Oh man, look at all the coaches in the AFC West. Look at the talent. Brock Bowers and like I said, Max Crosby. They got Genty. They had the pieces. We thought they'd be like where the Jags are now, kind of fighting to get in at the end. And no one expected this team to be a 2-win team and just completely falling apart like this. So yeah, I'm gonna put Pete Carroll as the worst of the new hires so far.
All right, we got one more coaching one here.
Yes, let's stick with the coaches. This is a little more hypothetical-ish. I don't really foresee any of these guys being out of a job, but it's still fun to talk about anyways. I have selected all the coaches this season that are at or over 500 and have been with their team for 5 years, and you have to fire one of them. Let's get a new voice. And I call this the Is Penn State Still Hiring Award, which they are not still hiring.
No, they got their guy. They got
their guy. And your options: Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, Sean McDermott, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Andy Reid, Nick Sirianni, Matt LaFleur, Cerrone. One has to go. Who are you kicking out?
Ooh, this is tough. But if I wanted to send a guy to college and turn things around quickly, I'm going Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin goes to Penn State. They get every top recruit in that whole area. We'll be following him to Penn State, and they get immediate success. He'd be the one. The number 2 behind it probably be Harbaugh. I think it's time. I think Baltimore is more than peak. This is what they are. They're not going to get any better anytime soon. And so it'd be between Tomlin and Harbaugh. But if I wanted to hire a guy for my college program, I'm going with Mike Tomlin.
So I'm with you to hire a guy for a college program. If we were just talking about the hottest seat, though, that this is still to be decided. It's going to be interesting. I think if it's today, oddly enough, I do think Tomlin's seat's pretty hot. Yeah. I do think it's the hottest on that list. But if they back into the playoff, win 9 games and back in the playoffs, he'll be fine like he always is. Who gets eliminated earlier, the Niners or the Bills? Because so both of those guys, they were hired the same year. Kyle Shanahan and Sean McDermott, I believe, are in their 8th season. It's, I think, 7th or 8th. And if you've listened to the show, you know how I feel about this stat. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're in their 9th year, actually. 9th year. Since the merger, only 10 coaches have spent 10-plus years with the team without winning a Super Bowl. That list is Marv Levy, Marv Lewis, Ted Marchibroda, Jeff Fisher, Dan Reeves, Jason Garrett. Andy Reid did it in Philly. He then went to Kansas City and won a Super Bowl, but in Philly, he was there for 10 years, didn't win a ring. Dennis Green and Jim Mora. Bud Grant is in there, but he coached some in the pre-Super Bowl era, however you want to count that. I know Felger counts him. And then Mike Holmgren, I don't count. He was in Seattle for 10 years without a ring, but he'd previously won a ring with Green Bay.
Yeah.
So he had it on his resume, but 10-plus years without a ring on your resume with one team is very rare. McDermott is full steam ahead towards that. And I think I said McVay earlier. I meant to say Shanahan. Shanahan is full steam ahead towards that. I've given the Shanahan rant plenty of times, and McVay's on there too. Those guys, especially McDermott, have to deliver in the playoffs.
Listen, I think if Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt for as long as he's been hurt this season, there is a real case for getting rid of Kyle Shanahan based on how many times that team has fallen flat.
And they are they in the playoff picture right now? They're the last wild card team in.
Yeah.
You think Mac Jones saved his job?
He helped.
I don't think he hurt it. I don't think he hurt his chances of being out of there.
Kyle Shanahan, Sean McDermott, clock's ticking. Marv Levy, that's your company. Marv, I think you were big on Marv Levy, Marvin Lewis.
But Marv Levy though with the 4 Super Bowls in a row.
He did.
I mean,
well, that's Shanahan.
He also lost them
for Shanahan.
True. Good point. Yeah, fair.
McDermott might be more Marv Lewis. So
yeah.
San Francisco's 9-4 right now. I mean, Shanahan's pieced together a nice little season.
It's not going to matter what they do until they win the Super Bowl.
Half of Brock Purdy and Mac Jones.
And they've lost because of him. So there's some superlatives for you. We got a few more. We'll come back on the other side with him here on Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
More Sunday Kickoff coming up on the Sports Hub.
Have you tried Good Stuff Smokehouse, New England's premier?
Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff. Before we get back to Superlative Cerrone, I'm going to kind of pull an audible here because I was just looking at this during the break. A little over an hour away from the college football playoff rankings. First of all, Indiana and Duke are conference champions in college football. Indiana's going to be the number one team in the country going into the playoff. This is insane. This is not basketball. This is football. This is insane. Pretty meh conference championship weekend, honestly. A lot of blowouts. The Ohio State-Indiana game was good.
Yeah, Texas Tech is just a shocker, too.
Texas Tech pulled away in that second half. The ACC game. The ACC game actually wasn't bad. They just kind of overlapped. But who are you putting in? So it's going to be Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech, Oregon all seem high enough to make it. A&M's probably in Oklahoma. Ole Miss get in without Lane Kiffin?
Oof.
They were 6 before conference championship weekend.
They shouldn't fall 6, 7. They shouldn't fall 7 spots.
Yeah. I mean, there is precedent with Jordan Travis, but I think they said, somebody on the committee said they saw Florida State without Jordan Travis. They haven't seen Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin, which to me is an excuse. But
that'd be terrible for those players for one to lose their coach like that, and then to get rewarded with being thrown out of the playoff. I think the players earn the right to be in the playoff. I think if you're 6 before it started, then you got to keep them in the. I don't know where they're going to land, but they should be in. As far as the ACC goes,
is the ACC going to miss?
I think Miami should get in, though. I think Miami should get in. I think they've been good enough to get in that last spot. I mean, it's going to be so tough, but I think Miami gets in. I think to save face, I think they put Miami in just to get an ACC team in there.
Because people don't realize this. It's not the 4 power conference champions and a group of 5. It's the 5 best conference champions. Duke wasn't ranked. Duke, by winning last night, by the way, may have killed the ACC and kicked off another round of.
Yeah, and they knew it too.
They knew it, yeah, because teams are going to try to leave that conference now, but that's another story for another day. So Miami would have to get in as an at-large because Tulane's going to get in, and then James Madison is ranked ahead of Duke. So they're probably the next one in. And then if UNLV had won, that would have made it even more interesting. And then it basically comes down to Alabama, Notre Dame, and Miami. And 1 or 2 of those teams getting in. Miami has a head-to-head win over Notre Dame, but it was very early in the year. Alabama beat the SEC champion in Georgia, but also lost to them pretty badly. I think if Alabama had lost close, they would have been okay. Yeah. It's going to be chaos today at noon. It's going to be absolute chaos. And then there's like Texas and Vanderbilt are still lurking too, but I don't think either of them get in.
Yeah, so. I don't think Texas losing to, I think it was Ohio State to start the season.
Yeah.
And their get on track games were San Jose State, Sam Houston, and it was one other one that they played. And then they needed overtime to beat Kentucky.
Right.
And Mississippi State.
They played one good game this year. And it was at the end against Texas A&M. Like, credit, they finished strong. I'd put Vanderbilt in over them.
Vanderbilt, I think, should get in.
Texas might have the head-to-head. They're just going to be one spot out. But I just want to get a quick college football minute in there. Bracket comes out at noon. At Real Alex Barth on Twitter. I'll react to it. All right, Garvin, what do you got for us? Let's do some more superlatives.
Perfect lead up, Barth, because you were just talking about all the college players. It's the Bust Alert. This is an award we are giving out for underperforming first-round draft picks, and I gave you guys a window of the 2022 draft class up until now. Cerrone, let's start with you. Who has been the most disappointing first-round draft pick?
There's only one answer, man. There's only one answer.
Oh, I got a couple, but I mean, from this year alone, I'm going with Abdul Carter.
Oh yeah, he hasn't been.
I'm going with Abdul Carter. I think we expected him to be not LT out the gate, but to be dominant. And I think the kid he got a sack against Drake May, but it was almost like it was a called run play, and he tackled him.
And that was his first full sack of the year.
Yes, and we're in December, and he got his first full solo sack of the season. After we thought this kid was going to be the next Myles Garrett, and it has it plus the off-field stuff and the suspensions is not starting games or whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna go with Abdul Carter just basically for this year for being the bust of the year so far.
So if we're going since 2022,
basically guys who haven't had their 5th-year option picked up or anything.
Abdul Carter's probably the biggest bust of this past draft. But if we're going since 2022, it's J.J. McCarthy. I mean, and it's not close.
Honestly, he is who I was thinking about when
I forgot about him. My bad, y'all.
There were the amount of Vikings fans tweeting about Fernando Mendoza last night. And by the way, Mendoza's second half was he might have locked up. We'll see what he does in the playoffs. I shouldn't say locked up, but like there were some people who not like in the NFL, but like, other draft people I talked to that weren't totally sold on him and then saw that game last night, that second half last night. We're like, okay, no, I see it now.
That third down, got a havoc throw down the sideline. Yeah, that's it.
But, the J.J. McCarthy.
I forgot about that.
We talked about it on the show. Zach Wilson waiting to happen. 9. All right, what else you got?
Yes, moving right along. Thank you, J.J. McCarthy. The Younghoe Koo Right Foot Memorial Award. This one goes for the worst or the dumbest or the funniest play that you've seen this season. Alex Barth, who gets your Younghoe Koo Right Foot Memorial Award?
So it's Koo for now. I kind of want to rephrase this question. Do we think it can be topped?
And he wasn't my number one. He was not.
Interesting. Well, so here's what I was going to say. Mechanically, that's going to be the worst play of the year. Although there, what's his name? Brosmer threw a really bad.
Oh, you stole it. You stole it from me. That's the one I was going with.
I think the Koo play was worse because I've seen other quarterbacks throw that interception. Brock Purdy threw that interception in college like 3 times. I've never seen a kicker miss the ball.
Mac Jones had like 3 of those before he was done here.
Mechanically, I don't think it gets worse than Koo. Maybe Brosmer. Do we get the way some of these coaches are managing games, though? Do we get like a mind-numbing coaching decision that tops that? I'm not ruling that out. The way coaches have managed some of these games this year.
Yeah, it's something crazy is going to happen again. But the Brosman one, that's why I was going with the shovel, the underhanded pick six. I thought was hilarious more than anything else. There's one I would add in there, honorable mention. I think it was last week's Browns game. Judy's running down the sideline and he does this like jump, skip type thing and fumbles the ball.
Kind of stopped running and the guy punched it out. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I can add 2 more to this list. Yeah. This list is actually a little deeper, I think, than we gave her credit for. One is Isaiah Likely. Isaiah Likely trying to, what was the phrasing? Unlock the football before he crossed the goal line. But the one that got me thinking, I mean, obviously Younghoe Koo was such a gift, but and when I say it, I think you guys will remember it. You got to go back to September. I want to say it was like week 3 or week 4. An offensive lineman for the New York Giants, James Hudson III, got penalized 4 times on one drive and had, I think my favorite penalty was the first one where the pass rusher tried to hit him and he just swung at him.
Oh, like he was trying hit the guy in the head. I do remember that.
That to me is like all-time dumb. And then tried to fight his coach after he ended up getting benched. So
it's crazy it's not working out in New York.
Yes, accepting the award for the right foot memorial is Younghoe Koo's left foot. Moving right along, it is I need your boots, your clothes, and your football helmet. This award goes to the best or worst alternate uniform this season, and we've seen plenty of them. Alex, let's start with you. Best or worst, or if you got one of each, I'd love to.
So I still think the best is the Patriots throwback, but if we're going to go like best new, those Chargers dark blues with the blue helmet, like the LT era looking jerseys, those rule. Those are excellent. That's probably the best. The worst, I don't know, pick a rivalry jersey that's not the Patriots or the Cardinals. The Jets ones are probably the worst. The Jets or the Rams. I hate both of those.
Yeah. The Jets ones that they're going to wear today, I would put as the worst because it seems like such a knockoff of what Oregon does and the with the metal look and all that stuff. I'm going to get the Jets as the worst. And the Patriots throwback to me is still, that's my favorite jersey in probably all the sports. So
how about
nothing's going to top that for me.
How about just rivalry best worst?
Ooh.
I like the Niners. I thought the Niners had a nice uniform.
I think
the black with the red and gold trim.
I'd go Patriots 1, Niners 2, and then there's a significant gap.
Yeah, I love the Patriots new uniforms. I watched a little 12-minute little documentary on them, and I kind of fell in love with them. I liked the Patriots New Jersey.
The Steelers just can't seem to get it right. I don't know.
Oh, those Steelers throwbacks! I forgot about
those. They love
those
stripes. I don't know why they want to put stripes on fat guys, but they insist on doing it. And then the Packers. I don't know if it was a rivalry uniform or just an alternate, but they had
the throwbacks.
Yeah, they were playing the Titans in like the middle of the year.
I like those because we got the leather helmet,
the leather helmet
cap.
I thought those were disgusting.
Indiana did those a couple years ago. I didn't mind them. But yeah, the Patriots rivalry ones were good. Cardinals rivalry ones were good. The Niners ones were solid. After that, so we'll see the Jets today. I think the Jets are the Seahawks I think are wearing theirs like the last week of the year. But not a lot of good stuff there. All right. One more break. We'll wrap it up. We're still going to do game picks. We kind of talked about them earlier, but I want to revisit some of the big games on the slate today. Then we wrap up this Week 14 edition of Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Alex Barth and Cerrone Battle on your station for the best football coverage. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Wrapping it up here on the bye week edition of the Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff. Matt McCarthy, Jimmy Stewart in for George Bilecki. So it's going to be McCarthy and Jay Stu joining you next. A lot of good stuff coming up. They're going to do some football. They're going to do some baseball. They'll take you up till Celtics at 3 o'clock, so some basketball talk as well from those guys after we get out of here. But it is the final segment of Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff with the Alex Barth and Cerrone Battle, which means it is time to do game picks. No Patriots today. So how about the games that Patriots fans will be watching the closest? I know we kind of already went through this earlier. We go around the league, but we're going to do some real game picks here. Let's start with the Bengals at the Bills. Cerrone, a reminder, the Bills are 5.5-point favorites. Who you like in this one?
I like the Bills because I like the Bills offense today. I think they really get going and crank it up against that Bengals defense, who's already been through a lot. I think the Bills run game, I think Cook has a big day. Fantasy guys, look out for him. And I think they get in the red zone enough to where Josh Allen gets one of those crazy 5-touchdown type games. Give me the Bills in kind of a blowout.
Yeah, I think the Bills win this one high scoring as well. How about, again, looking at potential first-round playoff opponents, the Steelers and the Ravens? Lamar is going to play on a bad ankle. Ravens 5.5-point favorites.
I'm going to pick the Steelers because I think Lamar Jackson, without his legs, really limits what kind of player he is. He's not really explosive if he's not dominant with his feet or the threat of using his feet. I think the Steelers will figure out a way to slow that Ravens offense down enough to get a win. That was a bad showing by the Ravens in that previous game, but I think the Steelers figure out a way to win this game.
I just think Rodgers couldn't go under center last week.
Yeah.
And if he can't do that, I don't see how they win. I actually like the Ravens kind of big in this one. And then finally, you ready to root for Tom Brady again, Cerrone? The 10-2 Broncos at the 2-10 Raiders. We need Brady's team to come up big. Again, the stakes here, if the Broncos win this game, they don't clinch the number 1 seed in the AFC, far from it. They'd be tied with the Patriots with 4 weeks to go. They'd both be 11-2. But because of the way the tiebreakers shake out, if the Broncos win today and the Patriots, if the Broncos win today, then if the Patriots and Broncos finish with the same record, whatever that record is, where they both have 11 wins, 12 wins, 13 wins, 14 wins, etc., the Broncos would get the 1 seed. They would have the advantage. So the Patriots would need the Broncos to lose at some point. The Broncos control their own destiny, basically. The Patriots need one loss from the Broncos at least to win the AFC. Today's their easiest game left by far, but it was a very close game when they played on Thursday Night Football a couple weeks ago. Is there a little Brady magic in the air today in Vegas, Cerrone?
I don't think it's up to the Raiders. I think it's the Broncos. They tend to play down to their opponent. They keep every game close. Every game is a nail biter. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. A higher throw from Mariota, they lose that game to Washington. You know, that's who Denver is. That's who they've been all season. So I expect this to be a close game. But I think Denver wins it on a last-second field goal, like 20-17 or something like that.
So there you have it, the Week 14 slate. Again, the Patriots sitting at home with 11 wins. They still can't clinch a playoff spot today because of what Ryan Garvin described as a horrific set of tiebreakers if they were to lose out. So hat and T-shirt game next week at Gillette. They can clinch next week. We will have you covered. Again, 8 a.m. before that one here, Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff. If you want any more of this game, this show, Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff, wherever you get your podcasts. Also on 98.5, the Sports Hub and the Sports Hub YouTube page. I'll be back tomorrow. We are going to do an off-week podcast with David Andrews. Patriots Hub podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, and more coverage on 98.5thesportshub.com. Coming up, Matt McCarthy, Jimmy Stewart, what do you guys have cooking?
Oh, we've got a whole bunch of stuff cooking. We'll find out when we crack the mics at 11 o'clock. No, I'm actually serious about that. Jimmy has something he wants to hit me with on the Patriots. Oh. I have no idea what it is. He says it's going to blow my mind. So here we go. That's a major market tease. Don't disappoint me, Jimmy. Don't let me down.
My life is full of disappointments, Matt, so why not add you to the list?
90 seconds, no commercials, then we'll see. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week. McCarthy and Jimmy coming up next. Bye.
Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray for Boston.